end, we decided not to change and to keep the same rules till the end of the first cycle. So then let's see if the project will continue. Then we'll try to make it a little bit different because I have a feeling we need under 17 players, at least two of them, or at least one of them in the team. With under 17 players.
Oh, yours are all 18.
Yeah, now it's based on the fact that the underage cannot travel alone. So that involves two parents coming together, and in Europe this is not common to go with the kids. Of course, it's possible to meet in some point, in some hub, and I as a coach can travel with them. But the rules are different per country. Like in every country there is something extra. So under 17 players in the first place was moved. So wait till you are 18 or 19 to be in the ACC team. But I feel that we really need a younger team. But this is my subjective opinion. So the board says, okay, we see the point. Maybe this is
Well, because we've always brought some younger players too. Yeah.
But my argument was not about how USA does it. My argument was about the value of ACC is different. You have a decent draw, you play a lot of good tournaments. ACC is sort of nothing special.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Day 2 at the Atlantic Challenge Cup here in Treviso, Italy.
Understood.
We have
I
3 matches coming up in the afternoon session. First up is a mixed doubles match, followed by the girls match, and then we'll finish off the afternoon session with a boys match.
Let David finish and restart.
I can't hear him.
So don't forget to join
That's
us at
normal.
8 o'clock
You don't hear him.
see more action.
But spectators hear him.
We're going to get the guys and girls in here. Please give a big hand for USA's Ariana Lynch and Kaiden Hunkins. April Larson. Apologies, April Larson and Kaiden Hunkins. It's day 2. It's been a long day. And she is up against Min Nguyen and Sanjin Pelivanovic. Oh, could be Victor, you never know. You look alike. So, ladies and gentlemen, the action's going to start now. Enjoy.
So, good afternoon to everyone watching the Atlantic Challenge Cup, the afternoon session of day 2. This is Thomas Brickmanis, EPBF Youth Sports Director and also the coach of Team Europe. And this afternoon with me, a very special guest, Alison Fisher.
Oh, thank you, Thomas. How are you doing?
I'm very excited to have you here. And
oh, thank you.
So many things to ask. So Alison and me will help you watch the 3 matches in the afternoon session, and we have first the mixed double match. And on Europe's side, Sanjin Peklevanovic and Mi Nguyen against April Larson and Kaiden Hunkins. So, Alison, do you like being here in Europe?
Oh, I love it. Obviously being from England, but just to come over and just watch these young players, see the youth in the sport competing at this level is just so much fun to watch. It's a growth period in their pool games too. You know, some of these kids I've known since they were much younger, and just to watch them over the years is, you know, it reminds me of my youth somewhat.
Okay. Of course, obviously, the score being 7-2, every match is very important for Team USA. How does the Team USA feel? Do they feel the extra pressure because of the score, or do they just enjoy playing pool?
Well, I think they're enjoying it. I think they've come together, they've bonded as a team, and they're doing the best that they can. And as you know from watching this, some of the matches have been a lot closer, so that's been a little frustrating. I mean, it's frustrating for us because we've just been knocking on the door. But we've had we've had quite a few unforced errors too in the matches. So I think they just want to work on, giving each other shots, getting a look at the ball rather than trying to be totally precise all the time. But yeah, they're a great team, great players, and they just need a couple more points on the ball, get going. Got so much talent here.
Obviously, a lot of talent on both sides.
Mhm.
So it's really nice to see the young players doing so good. And I mean, in some moments, the quality of pool was really high. Like it's almost same as adult game.
Yeah, well, I know on your side, I met Sanjin a couple of years ago in China, and he was probably about a foot shorter. And what a player he's become. I mean, he was good then, but it's so nice to see where they're coming almost to that adult level. And I know he has aspirations, to compete. He's going to have a busy schedule next year. He's already world junior champion. He's done so well. He's a great player.
Can you imagine 5 years ago his hair was a foot longer?
I never saw that. It's interesting that though, isn't it, how times change. I used to have curly hair when I was younger.
Obviously, that is a little bit tricky question. Seeing Alison Fisher sitting on US side makes it obvious question, since you're of course from England. How did it happen?
Well, in 1995, I basically took a one-way ticket to the US to play pool, and at the time I was a world snooker champion, and I wanted to try something different to see if I could win world titles in different games. And so I just took that jump. I'd met a couple of US players before, and they said, "Hey, you should come over and play in the WPBA tour." And it was just at the right time in my life, I think. It was just that timing. And so I've been in the US for nearly half my life. So that is my home, from England. And at the age of 27, I went to the US, and I've been there ever since. And, they really welcome me. It's been fantastic. They're playing on the tour, and that time has gone by so quickly, I can't even tell you.
Was it a hard transition? I mean,
I think
the social differences are huge between Europe and USA.
Not so much. I think, I'm pretty flexible type of person, open-minded, and I think I was welcomed so nicely by the WPBA players. And, I've travelled around the world, and it's just fun. It's been a really fun trip for me, that whole experience, all these years.
Were you the first female player to move to USA, or?
Actually, Gerda Hofstetter is Austrian, and she was probably the very first one to go. And then Helena Thornfelt from Sweden. I was about the third one, but I was definitely the first from snooker, with a snooker background.
And these days, of course, there are more Europeans like Karen Corr. Is she also European?
Oh yeah, she's from Ireland. Spent most of her life in England, but she's actually Irish. And a few other players, Kim Shaw. Who else? Long time ago, Julie Kelly, Kelly Fisher.
Of course, Lena Kjørsvik now.
Lena Kjørsvik, yeah. So there's been quite a few who've gone over. Made a life in America, basically. Well, looking at this table, it's been a nice start for European players. And I think they're going to have a nice little chemistry, actually, me and Sanjin. He's very much a perfectionist. I mean, he's such a terrific player to watch.
You won't see many errors from Sunny.
I know.
He's like every shot trying to be very precise and always on concentration, and I like his face.
Yes.
He's not hurrying too much. He's even in the open position, he will be on the same pace. Yesterday I've seen American players a little bit maybe too quick, trying to play in a different phase. Maybe I thought maybe this is a shot clock, which affected them, or maybe even nerves. You never know.
Maybe a little bit, but I think also some of them, their tempo is a little quick. I think one thing that is very noticeable about European players is their setup, good delivery, nice smooth cueing. They're really sound fundamentals, and I don't think enough of that is taught in America. It's taken very, very seriously over here. It also is in Asia, very respected game. And in America it's had a little bit of that misspent youth and hustling style image. So I think the more you see quality play and players representing the sport, that can only do good for it.
Obviously, you're still competing professionally, and therefore traveling to Asia to play some tournaments. In your opinion, why female players are so strong in Asia?
They have multiple coaches. They have government funding, and in China specifically, let's take China as an example. You're either very rich or very poor in China. You're one way or the other, and they have schools where they send their kids away to go and train in pool and try and bring some wealth to the family. And you can be a star in China if you win a tournament. You like, for example, Pan Xiaoting Pan was the first female world champion from China several years ago. That made her a household name. She ended up carrying the Olympic flag around the stadium in the Olympics, which is huge. And consequently, she's become very wealthy from being a pool player. So they support the sport. They look at it as a sport. They don't look at it as a game. It's a sport and well respected. I mean, we only have to look at the snooker stars of China. That was a nice shot by Caden there.
Yeah.
Getting back to the game, I really like Caden's game. He's got a really nice rhythm, very smooth stroke. He hasn't performed in the last ACC like we expected him to, and he's still got to find his feet here. But today he's a player who will have a singles match, and I think doubles is always tricky to show your best.
Well, in last ACC, Caden left a really good impression on me. So of course he was a little bit nervous, and he made few mistakes, but not too many. So, but overall, I think I was really surprised to see him. And I think he was 15 back then, last year.
Yeah, he's got a long way to go as well, which is nice. He's one of those guys who's got so much potential. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He's a great representative of the sport. That was a really nice shot he played there. But talking about having a good cue action, he's so steady, and this is what the sport needs to be like your players. And a couple of our players have very, very good fundamentals, solid fundamentals.
By the way, talking about the cue action, that's also very interesting for me. When you moved to pool, did you change your technique, or you still play like you started playing in snooker?
I've toyed around with different things over time. I try different things because I keep an open mind and I teach it, and I'm very open. I'm not stern in the way that I treat the game, but I still have that little hesitation in the backswing, and I'm not sure that suits this game. I'm not sure it's the best thing, but it's something I grew up doing. It certainly never hurt my snooker career, and I've obviously done quite well in pool with it too. So yeah, I tend to be more square on at the table, and it's so interesting watching all the different styles of play. So I like to try different things. Oh, that's a nice little opener for the American team. And April has been a steadfast, player in the team for so long now, and this is her last year of competing in junior pool. So it would be nice, to go out on a good note. And I'm ever so happy she won a singles match earlier, because I know that there's a lot of pressure on April. We look at her as a bit of an anchor for the team. You know that over the years if you've been watching.
And that's not only this year. The last year it was the same. Like everyone is looking, and of course she felt extra pressure.
Yeah.
She could won at least one match last year. And
For
I
sure.
remember her missing the Simon ball, which
I remember it.
wasn't so difficult, but she, I mean, probably the pressure played the last part in it.
Well, like I said, she's a bit of an anchor for the team and there's a lot of expectation. And I said that today after she won a match. I said, I do realise that there is a lot of expectation from you. So I was really happy that she got that match under her belt. And you know how it is. It's been a couple of these points could have been ours and it could have been a lot closer so far. So I'm just hoping they can relax and play their true games without that pressure.
So again, information to the viewers in the commentary booth. Very special guest, Alison Fisher, the Hall of Famer, the true professional, and the celebrity of the sport. So in case you have any question, feel free to post it on the EPBF Facebook page. We will be happy to answer it for you.
You know, I played a European Championships many years ago. I think I only played one of them because it was like a 10-day trip coming over and there was no prize money, so I paid it all out my own pocket. And I ended up winning the gold at the straight ball and 9-ball.
Oh,
That was nice.
who was the main competitor back then?
I'm trying to think I can't remember who I played in those. I mean, it was years when I've known Jasmine, for example, Jasmine Ocean from Austria since I first met her when she was 7 years old, believe it or not. And we played a little exhibition match in Austria, and I remember how intense she was then, so it doesn't surprise me that we're seeing her now. Now she's, I think, early 30s, so...
She's definitely one of the ambassadors of the sport.
Yes.
So doing really good for the pool and billiards.
Yes, absolutely.
And I saw her playing last week in Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell how she finished the tournament?
I do believe she ended up third in the tournament, and she ended up playing Wei Chen from Taiwan, who's a very solid player, and she had 2 8-7 matches, Callie Fisher and Wei Chen, and they went all the way. And I remember watching Jasmine at the third spot in the last rack, and she basically poor thing, I mean, she missed a straight in 5 that you'd never expect her to miss. We all do it. 4 balls left on the table to beat Kelly, and that was a match that knocked her out the tournament. But she's one of those the players that's very experienced, been playing many years all over the world every year. I just want to comment, that was a beautiful shot by Sanyin there.
Very good control.
Yeah. They're going to be tough to beat. I know this team's going to be tough to beat, but I like April and Caden too in this match. And these are the little matches that swing the points that could, we could have nabbed a couple of these yesterday. And there we see Mark Wilson, he's our coach for the US team, and Shane Tyree, who works for the BCA, bringing this whole thing together with Europe. And what a treat it is for the players. Lovely conditions you've put on here in Treviso, Italy. So they're very fortunate to have these experiences.
Okay, April to break.
I have to say, this 2-point rule, 3-point rule has been very tough on the players. They've struggled with this quite a bit, and you can see we've left an open table, and that's not ideal. You've got to try and win those breaks, but it's...
Do you have the same rule in the USA?
We don't put the 9 on the spot, so that's been a bit of a factor in this championship. Now, I know a few years ago, it was introduced in the WPA, World Ball Association, as a standard in 9-ball, but they went back to putting the 1 on the spot. So even me competing as a 3-point rule, and it's the 1 on the spot. Here it's the 9 on the spot, and I believe that's the same in the Euro Tour.
Oh yeah, this is the same in Euro Tour and same in European Championships. But we had a long discussion in the EPBF board.
Mhm.
Where should we stick to WPA or leave to the rules we currently had? And it was decided to go our own way because we see this as game improvement.
Oh yeah, I'm not against it because I think it makes you improve your break, and you have to have a more solid break, is for sure. And especially when it gets to a very high level of pool, if you're just kind of breaking and running very casually, it's not as much fun to watch and commentate too. And it takes less. I look at Victor breaking, and what an enormous break. I mean, 2 or 3 balls and always a shot. That is a killer.
Oh. That is a little bit unexpected miss by me. She didn't felt comfortably.
She looked a little quick, didn't she, there?
Yeah, yeah.
But tell me something about her. Does she play other sports? Because she looks quite athletic to me.
Me told that she played soccer.
Yeah, she looks like, to me, I
soccer.
figured that, actually.
We didn't ask which position she played, but probably not a goalkeeper, but yeah. I thought she was a swimmer, but
really?
It seems that she is from...
Yeah, I figured. You see, Caden's going to be a bit disappointed with that shot because he has left 8 for a shot, but a little trickier than planned. It is a natural to go in and out the rails, and she's pretty good at these shots, but it'd be nice to get in and get, a little closer to the ball. That's a beautiful shot. We'll take that. Almost a scratch, but that was a tough shot to play.
So the current possibility here as well. Which way Kaden will go?
The most important thing that sometimes they've neglected is actually making the ball. Now, I don't know if you noticed yesterday, this corner pocket was a little tricky. A few of the balls hung up here, so let's see what Caden can do. Oh.
He missed by quite a bit.
Yeah, basically, as I was saying, there's too much thought on the position there instead of making the ball, which I was a bit concerned about. The key, though, as you know, at this game is to stay present and not let things affect you. If you miss a ball, you've got to get that out of your head straight away and be back at the table ready for the next opportunity. Well, look at that. That was a beautiful shot. A wise choice, too, because it's always tempting to bank the ball, but he's really playing to win, and what a great shot that was. That's a lock-up safety there.
Yeah, that is a high-quality save
Yeah,
play.
exactly. Just what I was looking at. He's looking at 1, 2, 3 rails to try and kick into the 6. And the way the rails are playing, the rails are opening up a lot with spin, but she's just got to make sure she avoids the side. Beautiful shot. That was a really nice shot. And I think they'd be very happy with the outcome there.
I'm sure she is.
I find that, funnily enough, 1 rail kicks are the toughest to negotiate. It's much easier when you're coming into angles playing 2 rails to hit a ball. It's a bigger target and just seems a little bit easier than 1 rails and trying to kick perfectly into 1 rail and control 2 balls.
Okay.
That was a shot that really required a lot less speed, a cross bank safety, if you like. Actually didn't realise she could see the edge of that ball. I think it's time for some glasses.
Okay, that's a good opportunity, but he must be good making the position on 7. And it seems he tries to draw back to rail, which is always risky. You must have a free mind if you want to.
That was
do
a
this.
nice stroke. Very nice stroke. That was a tough shot to play. Especially on here, because it seems a little slow off the rails. Have you noticed that? It's kind of dying off the rails a little bit.
I mean, this table is definitely a little bit slower comparing to the diamond. Diamond is much has a quicker rails. At least I never played on diamond. I only see it in last year's Vegas.
And they're much more springy off the
yeah.
rails for sure. But this cloth seems fast versus the rails being a little slower. That's a nice shot.
The score is 2-2. So it's really important to keep together for Team USA.
Yeah, I feel quite confident in their pairing, Caden and April. You know, April's a really tough player. She comes with some really, you know, under pressure, some really good shots. You can see the way the cue ball sort of moved forward there. It kind of died. It was a little dangerous. But yeah, and like I said, Caden, I don't feel in this tournament has showed his best yet. So I'm hoping that if they get a little point here and he's playing singles later, then he can relax and really show his game. And sometimes with players, it takes a little bit for them to really come alive, you know, like a couple of years more experience. And I was talking to Caden's parents, and they said that he's thinking of possibly taking a year out to just focus on Paul before he goes to college or university.
And we have a few questions from
Oh,
the viewers.
Okay.
So Michael Sholvin is asking, anyone know who April's partner is? So
Yeah, his name is Caden Hunkins, from Wisconsin in the US, and he plays in a lot of open tournaments. Well, yeah, I don't know if he plays in a lot, but more so in the area that he lives in. But like I just said, he aspires to maybe take a year out instead of going to university, and he's a very smart kid. You know, he wants to get into accounting, I think, or finances. And but his parents are very supportive because he's sensible and stuff. If he wants to take a year out and just try the pro tour or the just to play some more tournaments, get a lot more experience. He's one of the more talented players in the US, and it'd be nice to see him have a go at it. I think give it something, because unfortunately in the US there's not that much support financially for Paul. Like we have more structures sometimes in some of the countries in Europe, which I can ask you about that a bit later. Well, she didn't want to bump into that 4-ball there. That's tricky. And that's what I mean. In a couple of these matches, we've made some unforced errors that have hurt us, rather than just focus on getting a shot for the next player with things like this, where you're just making it a little more tricky. We just have to jump out here.
So Caden is choosing the same path as Chris Robinson is doing now.
Exactly, Chris Robinson.
He's one of the...
Oh, that was a beautiful jump. What a nice shot. Has he left April a shot or not? I'm not sure if you can just see the edge or if she can make that ball. Yeah, Chris found a sponsor basically, and that pays all his expenses, so he has that luxury of just trying to really play full time at the moment. Beautiful shot. Well, I'll tell you what, it's a difficult run, but they're trying their best here. Nothing's easy. But yeah, I'd like to see Caden have that opportunity that Chris has right now.
Chris is doing really good. I am following his touring and playing career, and you know, the social media allows us to see instantly what's happening. And of course, he is a very bright young person. I like him a lot. So the more young players we actually see turning to the professional billiards, the better it is for the sport.
Definitely. That's why I want to see Caden give it a go too. You know, You know, when I was younger, used to watch snooker on television, and that was the inspiration. And the more you see things like this, you know, it gives something for people to play for. And, you know, in the US, being in the Moscone team is huge.
And here's another question from poolbrewers.co. Is it Alison Fishin responding just now? Oh yeah.
Oh, yes.
Exactly.
Yes, absolutely.
Very rare opportunity to shoot the questions to Alison. She is here in the commentary booth for the afternoon session. So,
Hey, what do you think about the carbon fibre shafts? It's an interesting introduction.
well, you
into
know,
pool.
I have my 20 years old custom cure and I really like it, so no.
Okay, I just wondered if you'd tried it, you know.
You know, back then, 20 years ago, this custom cure from Texas producer meant so much for me. I spent a lot of money back then, so it's like forever.
Yes, absolutely. The one cue, one and only cue.
Yeah, one and only.
Yeah.
And I hear some players saying that I tried and but it doesn't. It's not good for me. When some others are saying this is really good thing. So it's of course a little bit the question of a trend. You know, this is like a new
like
thing.
sales,
So yeah,
little.
they're extremely expensive, and I don't want to say anything bad about it. But you know, the industry is trying to impress people with something like. And sometimes the old things, they are not just as bad as
No, I
they're
agree.
still good.
But it's like you could liken it to tennis rackets, though, can't you? Really, when you think back, we used to all use wooden tennis rackets back in the day. Look at it now; it's just two trains of thought, isn't there? Really, of the good old classics versus. I'd like to see Federer play with a wooden tennis racket.
I'm pretty sure he can play with band
Yeah, I
as
know.
good as
I know.
he's playing.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but definitely a fad sort of thing. But who knows? It's a sound and a feel, isn't it? At the end of the day, what feels right to you. What I have found, though, from watching a couple of players, and I'm not pushing it at all because I'm still using wood, but I found that some of the female players have a little bit more power and a little more control with it. So that's been quite interesting to watch. You know, some players that didn't have that before have now their game's a little changed.
Only because of shaft?
I think so. No, I do. I think it's that little, sometimes a little something. It's just that little bit extra of something. You know, even if you add a shot to your game, or that little bit more power, you know, that's a big a percentage of a game that changes.
For sure, the small things are important. So
Sometimes that
pool,
one shot.
pool is about the small
Well, it
details,
is.
yeah. So
You know, you and I know, you know, close to the rail or an inch over here or there makes a big difference to a shot.
nicely played, good control.
This is a really close match as far as the players and styles. This is just back and forth.
And that is really good,
Yeah.
because we expect good quality pool to be shown here.
Yeah.
And I mean, so far,
Chemistry.
really chemistry is good, and so
That's what you want to see, I think, is the chemistry between the players. So Thomas, what do you think about our supporter that we brought here with us?
I have only one opinion. We need 10 times more. So
We're going to
can you
clone
bring
her.
next
We're
year?
going to. This is Kathy. This is Mark's wife, Kathy Wilson.
Yeah, because
She's such a supporter.
I remember her from last year,
Yeah.
of course. yeah, the thing is, the sports like pool, and it's not only about the pool. You know, the minor sports, they don't attract much spectators. Well,
Mm-hmm.
and in the end, it's really painful to see that the arenas are not even half full. And
Yes.
this is probably the very good thing about China, and I
Yes.
think they have a lot of people interested in billiards, so we're coming. And you know, the stream is here, and we are all lazy. The phones are getting bigger, so it's just you just push a button and you have the bullets on your phone. But it would be nice to have live people here watching.
And there's always a little something different to see in live pool. You know, it's a bit more fun. You see what the players are going through, how they're feeling, that you don't get on a broadcast.
Okay, that was an interesting shot.
Well, some people love jumping and kicking, you know, and I would actually give that back, because even though it's a easy jump, so to speak, to make the shot is more difficult. Oh, and that's the other thing. Sanjin came up thinking it was his shot, and he kicked into that, he stuck her there in that position thinking it was his shot, and it's not. It's his partner's shot, so I'm not sure she's so happy about that.
Yeah, for sure she's a little bit surprised here.
Yeah, she's like, thanks very much, partner. It was a nice hit.
Okay.
And actually, that's, unless it leaves a combo.
Yeah, that's a combo. That's a
Right.
kick shot combo.
Yeah. Well, I think maybe a thin hit. I'm not sure. They have to really look at this. This is a huge shot.
Yeah, it's possible to make a combo with a
Yeah.
hit. Well, if I don't know, if you are comfortable with kick shots, that is probably more.
Yeah, I know absolutely what you're saying, but I think
You need. Oh, what a nice shot!
that was a nice shot. Very nice shot. I think that's nice for the US to get that, because I do believe it's our break. Is it our break next?
Okay, things are only getting more interesting here.
The plot thickens. That was a little mental glitch on Sanjin's part, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Thank you for that.
You know, these small momentums, they're so important. You know, you can just, you miss some ball or you play some bad safety, it can actually turn the match.
We had a couple of those yesterday,
Oh yeah.
unfortunately, with ball in hand, where we snooker the next player, the incoming player. Oh, that's a nice little start. 8-ball. Made a legal break there. Made a ball and
Two balls.
Yeah, 2 balls, and we have position. And this is a huge game. If we can, if the Americans can get this one under the belt, a 2-game lead is quite big in this situation in a race to 6. That was nicely struck, wasn't it? Speed-wise.
Yeah, good position. Good angle.
Yeah. Everyone has their little repertoire of shots too, you know, that they're good at, and some don't like certain things. She's way overhit that.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a crucial mistake.
See, there was 2 trains of thought there, and for me, which was to spin into that right rail and let the spin drift down, or to hit with no spin and try and get in 2 rails. And she was kind of...
I would probably go with one rail, more control and easier shot.
Yeah.
And she was trying to force, which is sometimes hard to control.
Well, like I said, players have their things that they're good at, and I think the soft game and the spins are not April's forte.
Yeah, it works. And it works much better here on these tables.
Yeah, for sure.
You sort of need to have this feeling about how table works, and I mean, for the players, this is the first thing, to feel the speed and to feel the table. Otherwise, you are always in trouble.
I agree with you. You have to be able to adapt to the situation. Like how you play on a diamond might be very different to how you play on this table. And I feel like those types of things are missing from a couple of the players' game on our team, just from lack of experience. In the US, there's a lot of diamond tables now, so there's less playing on the Brunswicks, for example.
I mean, BCA should think about acquiring one of those before the ACC. It's significantly not such a big investment, and you
Yeah.
know, for players, it's a big thing.
Yeah,
to have.
definitely.
I mean, I was really impressed how European players adapt last year on the diamond,
Yeah,
which is absolutely different table and quite tight.
I
But
agree with
everyone
you.
played perfectly, and they
I-
said the
yeah.
table is good for them. No one complained, and I was like, wow, so quick.
I agree with you, because I actually thought that was way to our advantage last year. I thought well, at least we're used to it a lot more, but I was quite surprised at how you guys did adapt to that very quickly. A little too quickly for my liking.
I don't know what was the reason for everyone on Team Europe to play the A plus game, but
Yeah,
they did it. So
yeah, it was amazing to watch. So we just lost a little bit of momentum there.
oh yeah,
You know how Caden came round and gave her a good shot on the four? Actually, I mean, the other side of the four would have been good for the way April plays the game, going the back rail, side rail, and down to the long rail. So that's the other thing. What's my partner like to play as well in doubles? And the beauty of this game and the difficulty in it is I often look at the table and I see 3 different shots. When I'm playing for me, that's okay, and I make a decision, but when I'm playing for somebody else, it's a little trickier.
you know, in the morning session, Mark Wilson told a small story about the Moscone Cup in 1994 and all this, how you met. Back then, have you played also mixed doubles on Moscone Cup?
Yeah, well, oh gosh, it was so long ago, I can't even remember. I don't even remember. Maybe we did. I'm not even sure if we did. And it was funny for me because I was part of Matchroom, which was being managed by Barry Hearn. And I had no idea kind of what was going on. I was like, I didn't play pool. I didn't have a pool cue, so I probably played it with my snooker cue. And, you know, of course I was a shot maker coming from a snooker table, but I wouldn't say I was absolutely knew how the rails worked, or kicking, or banking, or all the little facets of the game that you need to know. But if I think back, what a moment really in the sport. If you look at where the Moscone is now, that we were on that very first team, is amazing. And I don't really think I had a big appreciation for it back then, because I was still in my snooker mode, if you like. But Barry cleverly introduced it because he used snooker players back then because they were more of household names, like Steve Davis, Jimmy White. He used his players that were in his stable of players for years because he knew that the British public and the European public would watch the game if they knew that those guys were playing. So it's very smart.
You know, the funny thing, many of us, I mean, the younger generation, are here because of snooker.
Yeah.
So we watch it on TV, and we ended up in the pool hall. So me as well.
Yeah. And it's funny, you know, I travelled a lot playing snooker in Europe. I used to go to Germany a lot and all around Europe because I was with Matchroom, and that was the game, you know, before 9-ball, 10-ball, straight ball came in. And it still is. I mean, what amazes me is in China, it's massive, snooker is, but also Chinese 8-ball, which is on a 9-foot snooker table. And that's kind of a nice little transition, like a hybrid between the two games in a way. But tougher, obviously tougher table, tougher conditions. Well, a bit disappointed there, look on their faces, because that was a huge game you know, we've given them momentum back now. Just when they were getting on a little roll, and these are the things that have turned it around. That one game in the middle of a set that where you think, okay, if we get this under our belt, we got that 2-game lead, and it's just turned straight back to the other team.
Those are the dangerous sports. As soon as you start thinking about result, and
For
the end
sure.
you forget about the
Staying present.
Yeah, present. So it's better not to think about it and just.
But I think for the players in it, it's a little disheartening. You know, you can tell, you know, a little bit that they're a great team and they stay present every match, but the score line doesn't reflect the play, if you like, always.
And here is a question from Alan Beganovic. What is race to? So all matches are raised to 6. This is the ACC format, and it hasn't changed. So all sets, singles and doubles, raised to 6.
Now, what happened there? Who broke those balls? I know what happened. I think Me pushed out, and she's not allowed to push out. Sanjin told her to push out, so she did. We had an illegal break.
Oh yeah, Americans break,
Mm-hmm.
and that means if
It wasn't an illegal break. We just didn't make a ball, I don't think, right?
I mean it was it probably it was a legal break, and after illegal break you cannot do push out. You can turn the table back to your opponents. In case Sanyin made a push out, the referee immediately called it as a fall because only the initial breaker can do a push out. Well, I must agree, these rules are a little bit tricky, but that is the only rule which is quite complicated to
It is
understand. Yeah.
it is a tricky rule because you'd think differently.
So mainly you can actually think that only the breaker can do a push out on
Correct,
these
yeah.
rules. The other part cannot.
Oh, it's a 5 tied up. Is there anywhere on the table where you can make that 5? Does it go? The way he's looking at it, it looks like it does go. So he has a nice 2-rail shot here. The end and the side. You just got to make sure you don't overspin it or overhit it.
Oh, that is probably too much English, in my opinion, because it
Well,
looked like a good hit, but the slow hit and a lot of English.
the slow hit threw the ball more.
Yeah.
It threw the ball to the opposite direction. And, you know, twice Caden's done this now in the game, and he's focused more on the positional play rather than making the shot. Yeah, when you slow roll, it's dangerous when you're spinning the ball. Well, it wasn't really that slow of a roll, to be honest with you. That was another unforced error. Oh, he tried to make that, didn't he?
Yeah, he went for it.
Well, that's not a bad result.
Certainly from this position, and as we see, balls are frozen to each other. So April must find a way to play defense.
I'm not sure of the shot here, but I think I would jack up and try and get through. I'm not sure if you can get through that gap. Looks like she can. They're not quite frozen.
Yeah.
So play the tangent line through the gap there.
Oh. She was trying to hide the cue ball behind the 5 and a 6 and got a little bit unlucky.
Is that pretty tight through there or not? I'm not even.
I mean, 5 is
no.
definitely open to a pocket.
I think from the angle we were looking at, it looked a little bit tougher. That overhead camera shows it a little differently sometimes.
Oh yeah, you can. Sometimes it looks the player is aiming somewhere, not to the ball, but and he makes the ball, and then you wonder what is it. But the camera. Oh,
Wow, wasn't expecting that. Wasn't expecting that. I'm sure the Americans are happy to be back at the table. And that looks a little tricky. Can we roll that down with topspin without scratching?
I mean, you must be really careful, and it must be a really gentle
Yeah.
shot, which is hard to do, and the percentage of scratch is quite high here. But
Yeah.
it's possible. I
Yeah.
think it's possible.
It depends how close it is to the rail too. If you can put a little bit of right spin on and hit the ball a little bit thicker than normal to throw it slightly.
And you probably need to cheat the pocket,
Yeah.
and from this distance, well, let's see what happens. But no, he's trying to play safe.
No. Way too hard. You know, if I was playing safer, I'd be tempted to have cross-banked that with more speed behind the 8 and 9 and send the cue ball up table round the back. I like that better. But these are, again, the experiences. What Mark and I were saying earlier, that we've been playing so many years and these kids haven't had all these experiences yet. But it's when you're playing safe, it's hard to control both balls. You absolutely want to make sure you get one of those balls right.
And here's another question from poolbears.com. Question to Alison. Are you now permanently based in USA?
Yes, I am, and I have been since 1995, pretty much. I have a US passport. I have dual citizenship, England and US. So yeah, I've been there for a long time now. And I live in North Carolina, near Charlotte.
Okay, it was a really good quality match.
That was a good
Yeah.
match. It really was. Just
Just a-
unforced errors. We had too many,
Yeah, just a few small mistakes actually.
for sure.
So the next match, we go singles, and that is Daria Siranchuk from Ukraine and Ariana Lynch. Very interesting match because I personally was really impressed by Ariana's play, and she's still 16, the first year on ACC. While Daria, I know her much better. She was always a really competitive player with strong character, and she is on the team because she was last year European 8-ball champion.
That's awesome.
That is the first big win by Daria.
Yeah, I admire. Ariana brings a nice little spirit into our team, and this is all new and exciting, and she's been like a little tiger.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are coming now to match number 11, which is a girls' match. Overall score, Europe 8, USA 2. Still a lot of work to do for these young ladies, so please give a big hand for USA's Ariana Lynch. She's coming, still in the practice room. And from Europe, please give a big hand for Daria Siranchuk. One more match to go after this. That's where we come up to the boys' match in the next round. So stay with us. Enjoy.
I have to say the strength in women's billiards in Europe has really grown. Because I see a few of them on the world tour, so I've been very impressed. that they're getting a lot better. And if we had the strength in numbers like China has so many Chinese players playing. Obviously, the population's was it a third of the earth, and so if we had that amount of people playing in Europe, it would be a lot better. But I've been very impressed with all the little countries within Europe that have come together in the European Championships and the strength of the players that come out of it into the world events. It's been nice to see like Christina coming out of Russia, Christina Tkach, Yasmin out of Austria, a few German players. It's good for the sport.
Yeah, the women's general level is growing, I hope. Of course, it's it's hard to see when the good players are going out from pool. So
Yes.
I mean, the numbers who are coming in more or less the same for the numbers who are going out of sport. So I mean, to have a strong female players, first you need to have a strong girl players. That's what we trying to do, and in European Championships, the number of girls participants has doubled. And we are very happy about it, because it used to be like very hard to have at least 16 of them, and now it's almost 32.
That's awesome.
So in from the young girls, you see the 13, 14 years old who are doing really good, getting to the medals, and these are the hopes.
And this is great to hear. And I notice European Pocket Billiard Federation, you have a little there's a Euro tour for women too.
Oh yeah. It is on the same date as men's Euro tour, just one day later. So it starts the same day as the last day of men's Euro tour. So we have the same conditions.
Yeah.
Sponsored by Predator, and it's actually doing quite good. 6 events a year. And, I mean,
in different countries?
On the same countries as men's Euro tour. So basically this is Holland, Italy, Austria, and whenever Euro tour goes, the same place with women Euro tour goes together. So that is a good sports platform, and I mean, the women must play somewhere.
And from that you create a ranking list?
Oh yeah, and that's how the participants to the World Championships are determined.
And so the ranking list becomes important, so it's important to support the tournaments.
Oh yeah.
And then you take some people for World Championships from the European Championships.
And Euro Tour rankings.
And Euro Tour rankings. So
it's combined pick.
Yeah. So there's always something to play for, which is good.
Oh yeah.
And was it Cynthia did Poland, did she win it, the most recent Euro
Olivia.
Tour? Olivia, that's it.
She just got married, so I don't remember her current present surname, but
yeah.
This is Olivia Czuprinska, previously a young girl. She was very good when she was competing in girls.
Yeah.
Still doing good now.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I mean, I've met her in China a couple of years ago, and she's got a lovely spirit about her. So I was pleased to see her win that.
So Daria started quite good.
Yeah, that is a nice start for sure. The nice thing about singles is you can kind of hopefully find some rhythm in your game, unlike doubles, which is kind of stop-start. You know, a few years ago in China, you won't believe this, I was asked to go to a school. I went to a school, and in the school they had a billiard room, and they had about 6 full-size tables, and they like having 8-year-olds playing on it. They have billiard rooms in schools. And if I take somebody like Chen Ximing, who's the #1 female player in the world, fantastic. I mean, her cueing, her fundamentals are flawless, and from years of practice in her parents' own pool room. for hours and hours every day of playing.
Oh, she overdrew it, so a little bit unlucky in the end.
Well, she kind of caught the left side of the 5 there. She hit it a little bit thinner than planned, which is why it went towards the 7 ball. She could have cheated the pocket a little bit and avoided that.
So Earl Munson is sending me greetings. Great to
Oh.
hear your voices, Thomas and Ali. Of course, Earl, we miss you.
Yes, we do,
It was such
absolutely.
a nice experience to have you in ACC.
Well, he's done a lot for junior billiards for sure in the US. He has a college program and he's been involved with the ACC and the Billiard Education Foundation for many years. And you know, and that's what it takes. There's a lot of people who give up a lot of time really for the love of the game and to see people thrive.
So it was a chance for Ariana. But Dali is back on the table.
Are all your players 18 years old on the team?
I mean, all of them
Mhm.
are 18 or 19.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
there are no younger ones.
Yeah.
But that is because of the selection we have, as I told you before.
Yes,
the
we
match,
talked
yeah.
about, yeah.
So basically, these are the champions from under 19 division from the last year's
Yes.
European Championship. So the time the ACC comes, they are already 19 or still 18.
Right. That 6 balls showed a little bit of inexperience because on a super thin cut, you know that the cue ball is going to follow that tangent line. And I think most players would have let the energy play into the second rail and out to give yourself a good shot on the 7 ball rather than trying to be perfect on it. She just overhit it, which let Ariana back, but she's played a good safety.
Okay, we have a comment. Europe needs this win. The Moscone didn't go our way. So I must agree, Moscone didn't go the Europeans wanted. What are your thoughts about Moscone?
Wow, what a close year. I mean, I think on day 2 if Europe could have evened it out, it was so close. There's some great players on both sides now, and I think what's different the last couple of years is Johan coming in as the Team USA coach, and he's created a team that play together. And I think the most notable difference about the USA is their mental approach. They're not affected by the crowd as much as they used to be, because that crowd is tough, whether it be in London or whether it be in the USA. And I think they felt the pressure in years past, and they never came together as a team. Whereas I feel now that Europe have kind of missed a little bit of that camaraderie among the team. So the dynamics changed. I feel like the USA bonded much better. Shane's been more present. You know, he always struggled in past Mosconis with the team that he had, and I feel like, you know, he's a new person. He's had last year when they won it, and then they're on the roll to keep it, and Johan's still involved, and I think he's got them training differently. He's actually got them training as opposed to just hitting balls around. And I think Johan has been a big force in European pool. He's moved around the countries training the youth, hasn't he?
Not
in the
only
sport.
the last country he has been involved with was Russia, and actually that is a big momentum for the players like Stepanov, Chinahov, and Gorst. You know,
Yes.
the players who are actually doing so well. So although he stopped working with the best of the Russian players, you can
Yes.
still see the influence of his work. So
Definitely. And we need more people like him around the world. Certainly in the US we need some top level coaching and rooms that support the junior side of the sport.
just a Just a question and an idea. Do you think the female Mosconi Cup is possible or not?
I do. I do. I think we've got enough quality players to do it. European, American, Asian. I think you could bring the continents together in that. We did it years ago. We did a Queen's Cup, which was a lot of fun. But I do think it's for sure doable, viable, and I think it would be a lot of fun. Let's do it. Let's do it, Thomas.
Well, I know someone from Europe who's really interested to do that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic. I would love to see that in the sport.
So Ariana is first on the scoreboard.
Yeah, both of them had a few opportunities there, and it's probably a little nerve-wracking for both of them. As we said earlier, Ariana, this is probably her first international experience, I think. And I love watching her face. When I first watched her compete, day one, her face, she was so determined.
For sure, she has charisma.
Yeah.
You know, that is exactly what sport needs.
I call her a little tiger. She's more like a tiger cub.
Yeah. So you had this camp before coming to Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Through this, you selected the players for ACC team. How many players did you have in camp? Was it like double the number of ACC or even more? Or
No, it was a few extra. It was probably about 10 or 11 players. We did this year, and then cut it down because the quality of play, there was a lot more to choose from, and we had a camp, and then obviously had to lose a couple of players. So they've kind of earned their way here, and it actually at the camp we gave away one of the spots. We had a tournament, which made it much more exciting too. That we announced it on day 2 of the camp. Hey, if you win the tournament here, you're going to get an automatic spot into the ACC. So, and that's where Ricky earned his spot in. And you can see we have a good quality in the boys' side, and we had a few more that were right on the cusp. You saw Joey Tate play last year, and you know what a great player he is, and he did very well in the World Championships.
the only medal for USA.
I know he got a bronze medal. He came in 3rd in his division, and he's just going to get stronger and stronger, and he loves it, and he's such a great ambassador of the sport for the junior side.
I mean, he still has 2 more years to go in the under 17, so most probably he will be finishing even better.
For sure, there's no doubt. He's just going to get stronger and stronger, and you know he comes from a huge family. I think they're
I know.
12 kids.
Yeah,
He said 12 or
yeah.
13 kids, and I'm like, wow. And they all play pool, and they all love it. And you'd laugh. I was at the Village Education Foundation Championship this year, and his sister was playing. I think she's only about 7 or 8 years old, and she lost, and she was all tearful, you know. And it reminded me of me at that age. And she was crying when she lost, and I was doing everything to pick her up, and she wouldn't stop crying. And do you know what? That's the passion.
That's pretty natural for kids to cry when they lose.
It was, I know, yeah, but you see what I foresee is that girl is going to be a great player when she's older. We'll be watching her when she's double that age, like 14, she's going to be a champion. But it's so nice that she has a big brother who plays, and obviously there's more of them in the family that play, and the parents are very supportive.
You know, when I had kids pool school, and of course from time to time wanted to make them some attraction, so I made a pool tournament. And I only later realized that this is really brutal, because this is how reality is presented to them, of reality of losing. You know, they are so shiny and naive about things only good, and suddenly they lose to some, you know, training team partner, and then of course with tears, and I felt bad about it actually.
Well, I have to tell you, my first, this is an interesting story. This is the first ever tournament I went in, playing snooker. I was, I think, 14 or 15. And I played a seeded player, and it's just knockout. There's no double elimination like there is in pool. And I lost in the first round, 3-2 on the last ball. And I shook hands, first of all, that's the first thing you do. And then I turned around and started crying. And my mum and dad obviously had taken me to the tournament. And I got in the car on the way home and I said, "Can you take me to the next tournament, please?"
That is ambitious, right?
Yeah, but
that is a will to do it again, to try better.
But I think that's the point, really. You're either going to love it or hate it at that stage. It hurt, but I thought, I want to do better. I don't want to hurt this much anymore. I want to win. I like the other side of it.
Well, that is exactly what I say to the first-time comers to the European Championships.
Mm-hmm.
There's two options. You will become better and you will train more and increase your level, or you quit.
Yeah.
Because the European Championships, I'm talking about youth European Championships, which is such a high-quality tournament, you know, when the
Yes.
newcomers are thrown in.
Yes.
The sharks.
Yep.
So, of course, losing is a hard
Lesson.
way of learning.
Mm-hmm. But it's the best lesson, because sometimes if you just keep winning, you're not really learning. We see Daria tried to kick behind that four, and sometimes if you take a little bit of pace off, the spin grabs more. So she just needed to hit that probably half that speed, and would have got the action on the four to move it up the table. But right before that, Ariana played a shot with inside English, and then that's an experienced shot because she didn't need as much English and could have drifted between the 6 and the 9 up for the 5. These are little things that you need to learn along the way. I've got another story for you. So that was the first one, okay, about the crying. And I remember when I won my first world title, I was crying in my room. And I had the love of my father and the love of my mother. My mother was "Oh, it's okay, dear." My dad was tough love. Anyway, so my mum was like, "Oh," you know, I was crying because it was pressure. It was a release of pressure. My mum said to me, "Oh, don't worry, dear, you've won the world title. You can quit now if you want." Meanwhile, I was just getting started. But I had the motherly love, and then the dad was, you know, he was great though. He used to try and push me. But I was always competitive too. You know, I played different sports at school. I loved it.
Well, the interesting thing about the billiards that if you like it from the very beginning, it sucks you in so strong.
It's a wonderful game.
There is no way to get out.
Mm-hmm.
You might end as a referee, you might as organizer, the coach, the player, whoever, you know, the streaming guy. But here, all of the staff are somehow
Connected
because they played.
Well,
the person who is actually walking behind the mixer is European seniors netball champion.
really,
So a really good player.
that's fantastic. That really is, and it's a bit of a give back too, isn't it, to the sport, and you love it. But that's another story. When I was growing up, I was a junior player, and I was the first time I went into a kids' club, if you like, in England years ago. Just want to see if she makes this 9 ball. Nice shot. That's nice. She's playing really well for our team. Very pleased with her, Ariana. It's great. But you know, so I went into this junior club. I found out about it. I was 13 years old. And let me tell you, that was the best thing, because there was, I don't even know how many, but let's just say 25 kids. Some of them were in their dress suits going along. Because what we did at that club, I didn't go to it for long, but what they did was they gave out prizes for best dressed, they gave out prizes for people who win, and you worked your way up a ladder, so this person's above you, you'll play them, and if you lose, you stay down here. If you go up, you go above them. It was just a superb way. They gave some of them, like you just said, became referees, had an interest in refereeing the game. So there was something for everyone. It wasn't just if you're a winner, you're, you know, rewarded. So I really enjoyed that. There was a lot of value in that club, I thought, for juniors.
Okay, that's a good break, and it's legal because 3 balls went in.
She has, I tell you, there's a lot of work needed on the break for sure in our team, but she's struggled getting the balls over the line, so. Do you know, isn't it, it's lovely to see those millions of people who play this game from all walks of life. And it's fascinating, isn't it? Because you're there, your own at the table, and there's so many things you can do, and it just builds your character a lot. You know, like you just said, you either leave it or you work harder. You have to have a love for the sport. That was a nice shot by Daria there. I'm not sure there's a little window there. It looks like there might be a little window. A game of millimeters.
I mean, probably the 2-rail kick is not very hard.
I think she can get by.
Yeah.
Yeah. She needed to play that a bit harder though, because inevitably the 2 was going to go into the 8. She needed to play it really 3 rails and try and snooker her back. Because now she could find herself stuck behind the 8 ball. One thing she did there was make sure that the 2 wasn't cuttable. I mean, it is.
It is,
It's
yeah.
super thin, but might not be the right shot.
And the main problem, even if you cut it, to control the cue ball is quite a task.
Yeah.
So was it a safety option? Or
I'm not sure if she was trying to go thinner on the 2 or not. I would have looked at that going thinner and lots of spin and trying to go 3 or 4 rails around the back of the ball. There's lots of options. People are different in what they like to shoot. But that one, she got fortunate. Can she see enough to play it up and down the 2, reverse it back?
It looks like she can.
She's trying to hold that cue ball down there. It's a tough shot.
So getting back in history, when you came to US in
5.
95, right? Who was your idol of female pool player back then? Who was the queen?
I didn't know any pool players. Actually, I had met, I'll tell a little lie there, I had met years before Steve Miserak and Ava Mattia. At that time, she's now Ava Lawrence, came over to the US to play, to England to play a snooker pool challenge. So I played with Stephen Hendry. So Miserak played Hendry in snooker and in pool, and I played Ava in pool and snooker. And it was just something to promote the game, I think. So I didn't really think much of it, and I really didn't know Ava. And then I played in the Munich Masters. I put myself in it. I just played in a snooker pool challenge, if you like. And I got a little taste of it in about 1992 Munich Masters. I thought, oh, that's quite good. Came in 3rd. I lost to Louise Furberg from Sweden. And I met a few of the pool players then, the top pool players. So then, again, didn't think any more of it because I was still a snooker player and loved snooker. And then Mike Massey said, you know, you should really think about coming over and playing 9-ball because the tour's really good. Didn't think any more of it. I went to Switzerland to play with Mike and Ronnie O'Sullivan, Ava again. And then at some point it just clicked with me. Like I said, in 1995 I found out about the tour and how to get on it. And I really didn't, I just met Laurie John, I've met Ava. I didn't really know Jeanette or Vivian. I played Moscone actually with Jeanette and Vivian, so that's the only time I met them, but I didn't know anything about their reputations or anything like that. So I kind of went in blind, if you like. I didn't really have somebody that thought, oh, they're my goal to beat. But at that time it was really Ava, Jeanette, Vivian and Laurie John and Robin Dodson, Robin Bell, formerly Robin Bell, who were kind of leading the game, along with the very first Classic Tour winner was Gerda.
Oh.
She played in America, her first ever tournament, and won it. So I can't say I had somebody that I was, somebody in particular.
Was she already a world champion back then, or she
No,
became
I met Gerda in Charlotte. I played that first event, and then 2 tournaments later was the World Championships in Taiwan, and she won it then. She beat Vivian in the final. I think it was 9-8. She won with a 3-ball combination. I remember it. That was a nice shot.
in a good position?
Yeah, that was nice. See, now you could do a couple of things here. You could draw a short draw and then play 2 rails off a 6 down to the 8, or you could go high with left-hand spin. It just is a preference. I noticed that the draw shot takes a lot, grabs a lot. Like I said, though, is a preference. She's playing high with a touch of left English. And that's a nice shot. She could go 1 rail actually with spin down, hit into that rail just before the side pocket, and use the spin to come down for the 8. Just let the cue ball do the work here. Let the cue come right through the shot.
Nicely done.
Yeah, that was she did. But what you want them to learn too is that slow push through where the spin really grabs as well. You know what I'm talking about.
Of course.
Nice
Yeah,
shot.
I see quite a character inside Ariana. I can recognize the eyes of the champion.
For sure. She's hungry. Look at those eyes.
Oh yeah.
Look at that. I'm really proud of her.
I've seen that look before.
Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to have that look. You have to want something. You have to desire. You know, a big thing in the game is desire. Will. You know, if you don't have that desire, it's hard to... You've got to be hungry. You've got to want it. And that goes a long way. If somebody's got a real will and desire, that goes a long way in any sport.
And you see, April Larson is supporting her teammate. So that's
April
really good.
April's so lovely, and they have such a camaraderie, and I really enjoy it. April's so light-hearted and friendly and open. A fierce competitor at the table, but really a genuinely lovely person, and she's always supportive of her teammates. She'll be involved in the sport forever. You know, she's that type of person that you can just see her around pool forever. And then Mark, oh my gosh, I don't think there's anyone who loves pool more in the world than Mark Wilson. And he's such a lovely person and teacher, and he cares so much about the sport. And I'm sure it's frustrating at times for him, because he really tries to push it through colleges, and I wish you could clone him. I really do, for the sport. He's such a great person. And I also want to give a shout out to the parents that have come all this way with their children in support. We've got McKill's parents from the Virgin Islands. Got April's parents who've come out. All the kids' parents. Caden's, Lucas's. It's amazing support, and that's what you need. You know, the parents are spending a lot of money to be here with their children for this experience, for them to experience this. So they've been wonderful.
for sure, this is very important. I mean, I wish we European parents travel so much with their kids, but I mean, uh, there is no tradition like the
Right.
kids in Europe. They travel alone more or
Mm.
with the coach.
Well, you know, that creates a bit of independence too. I mean, I remember my dad used to come around with me to tournaments to a certain age, but then I would go and stay with friends and players. I mean, I feel like in Europe there's a lot more independence, which is a good thing too, because at the end of the day, you're out there on your own. I think you maybe grow up a little quicker like that. But what I love about the junior side is they've known each other years, these kids, you know, especially in the US.
And they will be friends.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, from the ACC in
Mm.
Chicago in 2016 it was. Most of them are still, you know, connected and try to see each other. So
That's lovely, and I know that, for example, April's quite close with Christina. Because they've known each other from World Juniors over many, many years, and they're still young, you know.
and I actually love the fact that Chris Robinson come to see us last year.
Absolutely,
Vegas, so
still in
it's,
support.
yeah.
Yeah, that's where they start, and they end up coming back. It's lovely.
Okay, 2 balls with 1 shot, not bad. And we have a question. How old is Ariana? So Ariana is 16.
Correct. She looks younger, I think, doesn't she? Because she's short and she's got a young little face. But my gosh, what a little giant killer! And her sister's here too, who's younger than Ariana. Sister's here supporting in the stands. Sire.
That was a tough shot.
A little bit,
yeah.
tough cut back, you know, into a blind pocket. And then what's the cue ball going to do? She's going to stun it across, pop it in off the side rail there. But a bit more work to do than needed. Wow.
Nice shot.
Nice shot. And you know what? It's okay to play as good safety here. You know, keep the pressure on Daria.
Yeah.
She could just send the 6 up to where the 7 is and bring the cue ball back behind the 8 or 9 ball. But she doesn't really need to jack up here, you know, with the cue. She could just play a high left. Well, she got a little fortunate that the 6 hit the 7 there, because that could have easily gone over the pocket, but she's feeling a little aggressive at the moment, I think, with that sort
she's
of play.
Definitely dominating now.
Yeah.
And, nothing is easy here for Daria. So
No.
and really, Daria didn't do anything wrong, but she's
Yeah.
0-3 behind. So
Sometimes this is the nature of pool, though, isn't it? A little bit of rub of the green, so to speak, or rub of the blue in this situation here and there changes everything.
and I think there is a chance of scratch. Okay. The cue ball was close to the corner pocket.
And a couple of things, you could send the 6 ball straight up the table and between the 8 and 9 and cue ball on the rail, or you could thin hit the 6, bringing the cue ball back down.
Well, I would love to see a bank shot here. Cross.
Well,
But
you could do a two-way shot would be fine.
That was my first
Yeah.
thought. You can try to bank and to play safe. Either way you are, if you bank it, you are good on 7.
Again, it's about controlling both balls, though. You know, if you feel like you can leave the cue ball on the rail, becomes a bit of a two-way. Oh, she didn't want that, did she?
I mean, she hit the ball quite hard, so there was not much control in the shot. So the end result is sometimes unpredicted. So
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I think she was trying twice across, but the way the ball opened up, she put too much spin on it. And it, you know what? Sometimes play short side of the object ball. It doesn't matter. You know, let the spin do the work and just drift down. It's a little tricky shot here, depending on how you feel. Are you going to split the balls, or are you going to go behind the eight, or are you going to bank it? She looks like she's going to try and bank.
That is really brave shot if she's going for it.
Well, you would have banked the last one.
That is a little bit different. That is a bank with safety.
A two-way
it's
shot.
Two-way shot.
Yeah, two-way shot.
When you have such a bank, it's always a bad decision, unless you're really good at it.
But you know, one thing I will say, if it's a 50-50, let's just say it is a 50-50 percentage, then I'd play the aggressive shot.
And where's the question from
Yes.
David C. Willems? Alison, who is the maker of Ariana's carbon fiber shaft?
I believe it's Joe Peachower. She has a Joe Peachower carbon fibre shaft. And Joe actually supports a lot of the juniors, some in Europe and a lot in the US. He's a really good supporter of junior ball.
Okay, very important shot for Daria
Yeah, for sure, to get on the board.
to get some confidence.
Hit that a little too hard, a little firm, and just to the outside of the pocket there. If at a softer speed, that would go. But let's see, can she cut that? Or because it's dangerous for a scratch in the side if she tries it in the corner.
For sure, it's not an easy 9 ball. You must hit it so thin, so it's really hard. And you can scratch with cue ball as well. So
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad shot to play around the rails for a safety either. But let's see, it's hard to tell from this overhead angle what she's got here. She hit that really hard. And she tried the safety, I think, but didn't let the cue ball roll forward either. And has left Daria a chance to get on the board here.
I think she got scared from the clock.
Maybe.
The decision was too quick for sure.
Yeah, I did hear the beeping then. It's important to really try and visualise a shot, get a feel for it in your mind before you strike. You know, sometimes it's easy to skip a step. You know, it's important to get through all the steps, visualise it. And the most important thing, and there we see European boys team waving at the camera. It was Victor, wasn't it? Victor, Sanyin, Christian,
and Jan.
Jan. Wow,
Okay, a good shot.
another legal break there.
And is it 3-9 combination here?
It's pretty tight. I'm not sure. She'll have to do a little bit of work. Not the way she's lining it up. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like it. It's possible, I think. But she needs to really take her time, visualise it, which she's doing. This will be a huge game if she can pick this one up. Nice shot. Parents are happy. Listen to that crowd. Aren't they lovely, supportive? Wow, there's Kathy. I would say we're a little patriotic, wouldn't you?
That's very good.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's nice to see some energy from the audience there.
Okay, finally Mark is smiling.
Oh,
Every time the camera
no.
was on him, it was the palm
Yeah.
face, and you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so a good sign
He's
in the Team
relaxed.
USA camp.
Yeah, it's lovely. Well, Ariana, look at this. A great start. 4-1 against Ariana. Race to 6. I think it gave her a huge lift yesterday, winning that first team point. That was amazing. That run out.
I mean, you know, the team should pick the MVP in the end of ACC. So
This is true.
not trying to gather information from you, but just trying to tell it. That
Is that suggestion then?
I'm just no comments on it.
Just an observation.
Yeah.
It was an observation. She's left her very tough here. Yeah, that was hard to know what to do with that shot, actually. Might have been even worth a kick. Came out not too bad. Is she going to play safe or go for a bank here? I would like to keep the pressure on myself. I'd probably play the safety. That's a good choice. Be nice to have hooked the opponent, but like I said, always make sure you're getting one of those balls in a good position.
Again, the back shot is possible. Dali is going for the safety. And this is not exactly what she wanted. Hopefully the 2-ball is blocking this pocket. Otherwise, 1-9 combination would be possible here.
Well, that's what happened in that doubles match earlier. That when I was on the sidelines, it was giving 2 combos up early on. The match was tough for us. The 2, 3, and the 2 and the 3 combos.
And we also a few moments when Europeans get lucky. Just
Yeah. But that's, like we said, it's the nature of the game. That was a nice shot played by Ariana there. Got to be careful. This is an all-ball foul tournament. Do you always play that way in Europe? All-ball fouls, or are some events just cue ball fouls?
Oh yeah, all ball fouls.
But are there any events where it's just...
Of course, in the events like European Championships,
Where you don't have referees.
we don't have
Yeah.
referees on every table. However, if situation like this appears, when the player needs to call the referee near the table, and when the area referee will take the duties of a table referee.
Yeah.
If the player forgets to ask the referee to come, then the decision will be always in favor of the playing player, active player. So the kids have been taught to use every opportunity to ask for assistance if the shot is
So that's
more
their
difficult.
responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in Euro tours where the players are high level, the referees are really not needed. So
Yeah, in world events it's all ball fouls. In the WPBA, if we don't have referees there, like you said, you have the option of calling somebody over if you don't. But it is you can touch another ball and put it back in its place. But I don't like. It gets sloppy, I think, when it's like that.
Well, in Europe we have a referee program, and there are almost like 40 plus referees
That's
around Europe,
fantastic.
and they all try to be active.
That's
So
great. Well, it's important for the players to be able to just get on with their game and not have to worry about the rules and who's doing what as well. The discipline in the game. Because sometimes that's uncomfortable if you're having to call a foul on a player.
She's lucky a little bit here.
Wow, yeah, especially that too where it's sitting.
And the referees in this event are very good quality referees, the best in Europe. So
That's wonderful. Like you said earlier, you said this guy's a 9-ball champion, a senior champ.
that is Jimmy, who is actually sitting behind
Oh,
this
okay.
wall and mixing, and he's a really good player. It's not easy to win the seniors championship in Europe.
No,
So
I
many ex-pros are playing.
Yeah.
So coming.
Yeah.
Like Tom Storm.
Yeah, I remember Tom.
Played 3 or 4 years ago in senior championship.
Really?
Yeah.
What about Oliver? What's happened to Oliver? Is he still playing? Oliver Orton?
Well, Oliver is playing in the men's division. He is not trying his luck in seniors. It's probably not interesting for him because he is still very good player.
Yeah,
So
I
he
just
can
wondered because
compete.
I haven't seen him around for a long time personally. But what a great player. Tremendous player. Now Daria is struggling quite a lot with her speed control, isn't she, in this match? Just overhitting a few balls, and like we saw just then, she went in the side pocket and gave Ariana ball in hand. And, Ariana's not forcing the issue here, because she could have tried to get on the 4 there and didn't. She just thought, I'm going to try and 3-foul her. I think she called an extension then. Give herself a little bit of time. But the 3 becomes a big ball if you play it 3 rails off the end here, side and then end. Let's see what she's looking at here. It looks a little wide to me, but let's see. Yeah. Just because of the way the table's opening up off the first rail. You had to almost aim it like you're going to play the cue ball in the corner pocket and let the spin take effect.
So 2 fouls.
Yeah. There is a runnable table, and there's not an easy safe, so to speak. So let's see what she chooses to do.
I mean, a good strategy is to play the balls and let's see.
Yeah, exactly.
If you
I
don't have a clear shot, then maybe try.
If there was any safety, the 5's in a little bit of a spot to play safe. But I think she's come a little short. You see, these are the little intricacies here, aren't they?
Yeah, this is exactly the worst spot for the cue ball to be, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a tricky one there.
Okay.
Well, she focused on making it there, and that was good. I mean, she again, you could do that on this 5 because the cue ball is going to bump the 9 with topspin, and she should have a nice shot on the 6. So just focus on making the 5 here. Nice shot.
Really good.
Just hit it a little bit fuller than she wanted there. Meaning catching the left side of the pocket. This is tricky now. Looks like she's looking at a rail first shot.
It's a difficult shot. There's not so much space to.
Right, it's easy to miss this.
Is she going for it?
I think she is, rail first. That's a really tough shot to negotiate. You might sometimes be better off just making the 6 and playing a good safety on the 7, but not to say that was an easy shot either. She just left herself tough there.
Well,
She hasn't really left Darius anything easy again
no,
to get back to the 7.
sure, it's not an easy shot.
No.
Even if you can pot a 6 ball, you can you should still make a position in 7. So.
Oh, Ariana got away with that a little bit there.
Okay, it was a nice try, but
Would you play the 7-8 combo here just because the 6 is too straight? Just stop it and play 7-8.
yeah, probably this is a good decision.
She hasn't even looked at it though. She hasn't walked
yeah.
around.
Making position on a 7, it's not easy, because the balls are straight. Oh, it seems she knows better than us.
But I think if you walk around, that's experience too. You know what? There's more than one way to skin a cat, so they say, but it's always good to walk a lot because you see a lot of different opportunities sometimes. Different perspective.
So 2 rails or 1 rail? Oh.
Do you know what? 1 rail.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why, just make the ball. You can make the 8. Just make the ball. And she played it with inside English and overcut it. She didn't need to do that. She just threw the ball a little off course there.
Okay, Daria needs this point. And I think she's a little bit lucky to have it.
Very much so. Ariana just, she obviously didn't like just rolling that. I would have just rolled that 7 in and taken a cut on the 8. But she's obviously feeling good, she felt like that was makeable. So I've got another story for you. So I'm driving a lot. When I was 16 years old, I played in a tournament. And I played my best friend in the final. One of my best friends, Caroline. And I'm supposed to win the match. This is a player I'd normally give a hefty handicap to. I was sort of a bit jokey and a bit complacent, and I ended up losing. So I get in the car on the way home. It's probably midnight, and on a Sunday night, and we're driving home from somewhere in London, probably. And I'll never forget the talk. I got the talk, Mum and Dad. And this is how the talk went. They said, we don't mind if you want to go and get a job, leave school, get a job, working at the corner store or whatever. But we're not going to spend our money in our weekends supporting you if you're going to, take it easy. It's not a joke for us. It costs us a lot of money to bring you to tournaments, give up our time, our weekends to watch you just, joke around. But you know what? If you just want to go get a job, that's fine with us. We won't support you anymore. Or you can go and start practicing really hard and give it your all. But no matter what, we'll support you, whatever you want to do. And that was the talk I got. It was like, okay. It was clever because it wasn't you have to do this, you have to do that. It was your choice. So my parents really did me a favour with that talk at 16. I thought, I think I want to practice harder. And so I did. I started practicing 4 hours a day and really...
Like every day?
Yeah, giving it a lot of time. And I played in tournaments, but if I had a weekend off, I would take a weekend off. But I treated it more like a job then, and that was really good. That made a big difference for me. But I used to do drills. I used to pretty much just play on my own most of the time.
Wow. Is she going for a shot? Wow.
Well, the thing is, she played a poor 2 and she let the cue ball go because it picked up a bit of spin off the rail, and all she could see was an edge of the 3, so it was like nothing to lose shot. And she made that 3 ball in the side, a blind pocket, and then the cue ball went in the corner pocket off the rail. Now, it is an interesting choice because you could draw this or play the follow. That was an amazing shot, speed control wise.
I'm not sure if she can see enough.
Oh,
of
I
the
thought she
fireball.
could get through. I think she can get through. That was crazy shot. You know,
Yeah,
the
because
speed control of that. Because
Yeah.
normally, if you have a shot like that, you want to
must be
be
so precise
you
on
wanna
the
be
position.
you kind of want to be following it really and probably play the other side of the 6. So that was an amazing shot from where she was. To feel the ball like that. But I bet you she's like, I gave up that last rack and I shouldn't have. So I think we're going to see that little fire in her eye again. Nice shot. Do you know what I'm really impressed with at this tournament is the way they've handled the shot clock. They all look really composed. You know, I don't see people who have just rushed it when they hear that little beep because we're not used to that, and I think they've done really well with it.
She is handling the situation very good.
Yeah, just play a nice little stop shot here for the 9 in the side. See, she has a little angle, but you can cinch the pocket here. You know, put a little bit of spin on it, and these are the shots, the little intricate shots that they need to work on. I think she's going to play it across. Let's see. Wow. Just needed to a little bit higher on the cue ball there. She hit a little too low.
Yeah, that is a little bit unfortunate.
Yeah.
She can still make it.
Yeah, cut or bank.
Yeah. The bank is probably much better now because we cutting to the middle pocket. It's not easy. Bank looks easy.
Wow, that was a fantastic. You called it right, Thomas. Fantastic. She's delighted to get that game under her belt there. That puts her into a lead of 5-2. Pressure's on Daria now. She's a little fireball. She's brought a lot of good energy to our team, I tell you. That's for sure.
So, Ariana is on the hill, and we see that Daria cannot get her aim.
She hasn't got going, has she, really? But again, like we said, this is all experiences, you know, it's all learning process. The game will be around them for their life, I'm sure. She didn't make a ball.
No, this is a dry break. And I can see a lot of thoughts running through Daria's head. She's sort of this girl who thinks too much.
Yeah. Well, you know, when you're sitting in a chair and you're under a bit of pressure, it's a sort of rise or fall. Your mind is in control of everything, of how you approach opportunities back at the table, isn't it? You can give up or you can fight. And it's tough there sometimes when you're sitting in that chair. But you've got to make a commitment and a decision.
You know, sometimes you just this feeling that no matter what, I will win. So I see this look at Ariana's
Hmm.
face now.
Exactly,
She's
that's
confident.
that's the will.
She's brave now.
Yeah, the will and desire. You know, if a player has that, that goes a long way. My very first coach, guy that I met when I was about 13 years old in that kids club, they spotted me from behind and thought I was a little boy, because I think I was about the only girl in the club playing. They said, "Oh, there's a little boy with talent." And there was a professional player at the time teaching along with this other guy who was a coach, and they took me into the room like, "Oh my God, it's a girl playing!" I'm like, wow. And then they got me my first decent cue, because I went into that club with a screw-in tip, you know, the 2-piece cue that you get for Christmas, which I adored. I love that cue, my very first cue. But they got me a decent cue, and I started playing from there.
So naturally, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What cue are you playing now?
Well, I've brought out my own line of cues that Joe Peachower makes.
Oh.
I do an Alison Fisher custom line now, and you know, my thinking in the sport is that every cue is like 58 inches long, so I've done a custom line, because I use a 56-inch cue, because I feel like a lot of ladies, or it doesn't matter, short people or tall people, they don't have anything that's custom designed. And so with these you can choose what length you'd like, you know, anything basically. It's there at AlisonFisherCues.com. If you want to go check
sorry
them out.
for asking a stupid question.
Go on.
I was not aware of this. And this 56-inch cue, is it lighter a little bit, or is it the same weight?
No, it's still, I'm using a 19-ounce cue, but if you think about it, if your hand is quite far up the cue, I feel like you're dragging weight. You're sort of ahead of the balance point of a cue. So, funnily enough, my snooker cue was only 54 inches, you know, playing on a bigger table, but the snooker players hold the cue all the way at the end, so that made sense. But a 58-inch cue is a bit too long for me, for my liking and my swing, so I've always used a 56-inch pool cue. I actually suggested to Ariana when we had training camp to try a shorter cue, but I think her mindset is that she wants a longer cue, because sometimes if you're shorter you feel like you need a longer cue to reach shots.
Well, actually, kids need a custom cues for them, because we standard cues are too heavy
Yeah.
and too long.
Yeah,
So that makes balance of the cue being in a different place.
yeah.
So
I actually think she could go down in size and just carry an extension piece if she needs it. But that's something that, you know, in time she'll decide if she wants to do. But yeah, all the cues are made in America. Joe Peachow, he goes and chooses all the wood, and it's not imported or anything. They're really nice. Right, what we're going to see here, we're going to see the bank to get on the 7 ball, try and close out the match, or another safety. Is it patience or is it aggressive? She looks aggressive there, the eye.
bank shot for sure.
Yeah, the eye of the
Looks,
tiger.
it looks like that.
Yeah, it's very assertive. Well, as much as she's left Daria's shot, it's not easy to get back to the 7 angle-wise, because you're hitting quite thick on the 6 ball.
I mean, if she doesn't hit too hard, she
Right.
can roll from one rail down.
I saw her
to a
playing.
7.
I saw her playing a shot yesterday where she put too much topspin on the ball and it reversed and it kind of stuck to that
Oh, yeah.
rail. So it just depends. If she hits a bit lower, spins it, That was a great shot. She actually hit that really well. Luckily she's tall. I think she can reach that if she wants to go for the cut.
Not an easy 7.
Not easy, but you know what? 5-2 down, you've got nothing to lose. I think I would just go all in. Top spin, straight up and down the table. There comes a point where you've just got to go for it. If things aren't working out, you just try and create a little momentum. Because it's a natural position. You know, she just lets the cue ball run.
Yeah, with nothing to lose attitude, you sort of remove all the blocks
Exactly.
from your mind. And
Yeah, take the pressure off, go for it. See what I mean? And I think she must have caught a little bit of spin on that because
she's a little bit lucky and she's
Frustrated.
frustrated about it.
because it was a natural up and down tangent line shot, so I think she must have put a little bit of outside English on that.
And I see one of the viewers is asking the same question I asked you before, and this is Nikita Rudenko. He's actual Ukrainian junior player.
Yeah.
Alison, how about women's Mosconi?
Yeah, well, we talked about that earlier, and I tell you what, I think that would be a fabulous idea. I think we've got a lot of good female players around the world now. Different continents too. Oh, thank you very much. Got a little bit of run of the ball there. But I'd love to see that. I think it's certainly viable, for sure. We just need to get some people interested and get it done. Hello, Ukraine.
I see Alison Chang just joined our crowd of big viewers, and you know the Alison Chang from Taipei?
Yes.
So hello, Alison.
Hi, Alison. She's a great supporter of the game, and she's always at the international events, helping out the players from the foreign countries and taking all the press pictures. She's been wonderful over the years.
Alison is actually coming to Europe quite often.
That's
Euro
superb.
tours and
That's
sometimes
lovely.
European Championships. So
Yeah. Oh, that was a poor miss there, because that was a big ball to hit.
well, it was almost impossible to miss, but
Yeah.
somehow it happened. So
Yeah. It's very frustrating when you miss those one rail hits.
oh yeah. So this was a little momentum.
Little shift there, because she hooked herself, Dara did, and got a little fortunate with the lead, but then Ariana shouldn't have missed that 8 ball. But now we're looking at 5-3. Are we looking at 5-3?
So another question for Alison from Edward Hoffman.
Mm-hmm.
Alison, playing the Women's World Netball next month?
No, I'm not actually. There's a Women's World Championships in Sanya in China, and I'm actually staying on in Italy to sightsee for a week here, and it would only leave me a week to prepare, so I felt like I'm just going to spend some time with my family at home. That's probably the only second World Championships I've ever missed in my life, so I feel a little two-wayed about it, that I could do it, but I'm not practicing enough at the moment to warrant that. 24-hour trip to China. It's a little tough, and it's not easy as you get older.
Okay, I think
It's
this
illegal.
is illegal break.
Yeah. For those watching, talking about the illegal break, it's a 3-point rule. If you make a ball, you have to get 2 balls over the head string, that line at the back of the table there, top of the table. If you make, Mark, wake up. If you make 2 balls, you've got to get 1 ball over the line. And we've seen a few players struggle with that. I think he's quite relaxed at the moment. I think he's got a lot of trust in Ariana.
I mean, the operator is doing some small joke here.
Yeah, I bet. Look at that. Mark, come on. You can do it. Get some coffee. I think he's going into sort of a meditative mode. And she's opting to push out here. Sensible choice. 5-3 up, sorry. And Dario's put her back in to play this shot. You better like what you leave yourself, right, when it comes to push-outs.
I'm actually surprised Daria left this shot because it was an easy save option here. So I
Yeah,
mean,
but you know what, the way
decision
she's
too quick.
feeling, I think. She probably didn't feel like shooting that, didn't see something easy. And I actually think that Ariana played that into the 5. I think she got a little bit... She hit it a little thicker than planned. Wow. How many times have we seen that side pocket scratch? She's had that a couple of times in this match. But she really hit that quite hard, didn't she? There's a lot of frustration there. Yeah, you could play this shot a couple of ways. You could play into the top right pocket and let the cue ball run around 3 rails. You could play it 1 or 2 rails the other side, where she can reach it. Just got to make a good decision here. Make sure you get on that too. Well, she opted to... Oh, and see.
Well, a lot of mistakes recently from both sides.
I think the play there would have been into the top right and let the cue ball go 3 rails naturally around for the 2. It would have been an easy shot. You avoid pockets at all costs. I mean, she obviously felt comfortable with that draw, but she got a little too much into it there. She's just very frustrated at the moment, you can tell. Nothing's going right for her. But this is where you've just got to knuckle down, isn't it, and just play. And Ariana's got to try and finish.
Okay, it looks like a good angle on the floor.
I don't know, can she make that? I think it's a thin hit.
Yeah, it looks like it's makeable.
Hmm.
Just a little bit too thin.
Now, can Ariana get through that gap there? What do your eyes tell you?
From this angle,
It looks like it, doesn't it?
I'm not sure.
Let me borrow your glasses. She looks like she's going rail first for safety. That was a nice speed. You've got to be careful. I was going to say, you've got to be careful on those shots of hitting too far behind the 4 and scratching in the corner. So she played a really nice speed on that shot. I was going to say the 5 ball's a big ball there for safety.
Very nice safety shot from Daria. So
2 rail. 2 rail behind them. 6. That's what she's looking at. Looks a little long to me, but we'll see.
she will miss it.
Way long. Yeah, you had to come in, because you see when you're playing into the rail like that, it's going to lengthen out off that first rail. That's where I think sometimes the juniors are lacking with a little bit of feeling for the game. But again, that comes with experience, playing in different equipment, different conditions. Well, she should be out from here. High ball, getting back into the centre area of the table for the 9 in the corner.
Nice position on
Yeah,
line.
you just got to make sure you hit it hard enough to get past that line of the 9. I'm sure she'll breathe a sigh of relief if she gets this game. So here's a little momentum shift. There's a bit of pressure on Ariana now from having a nice lead. Now we're at 5-4. And the key is patience. You know, don't try and force anything. If it's there, take it. If it's not, be patient. She's not looking overly confident there. Bit thoughtful.
Well, I see Dari is calm now, so
Yeah.
those 2 points, the last 2 racks, gave her some confidence, and she's now okay, like in the beginning of the match.
Yeah, it was very disappointing for Ariana there to draw into that pocket. You know, with ball in hand. So let's see if this makes all the difference at 5-4.
And it's a dry break. I don't understand how
Look
4
at the
ball can hang.
4. Look at that.
Is it some kind of glue in this pocket?
I think so. Deep shelves in these pockets, that's for sure. Do you see that? He's willing the ball to slow down. Yeah, she really hit that quite hard. I think, can she one rail it by the 5 or not? She's going to have to put, I don't know if it's a little far. No, yeah?
It's not
doable.
easy. Yeah, kick shot of course is possible, but I mean probably some English is needed.
Yeah, it might be. It's hard to tell from the angles we're at. Nice shot.
And she almost made it 4.
But you see that 4 ball hanging there, that becomes a big pocket now if Daria just rolls down. Just be careful of the cue ball though.
Rolling to the 4 is fine, but it's also
Control.
really tricky where you leave the cue ball. Okay.
I'll take that, thank you
She
very
decided
much.
to play it strong, so
And that might not have been a
roll.
bad choice. I mean, it's a little unpredictable, but you don't want to also hook the cue ball behind one of those other balls there. So it was a good choice. She overcut it. You know what, on a shot like that, I just want to mention that you could play the 3 in the corner pocket. I think sometimes they're of one mindset. Instead of walking around and looking, you could a little bit of outside English and hold the cue ball up, or you could have put inside English and gone 2 rails out for the 3 in the corner. It doesn't have to be. It's not set in stone that you have to shoot it in the side. So that was a really kind of careless error there.
Well, the balls are
They're there.
open.
The balls are there.
All you need is just to shoot them in.
Make sure you get on the 5. It looks like a stop shot, but it's, again, I think she has a little bit of angle.
I mean,
She's gonna roll forward
Even
and-
with low roll is fine.
Yeah. I think she's going to hit it into the rail and out though, so let's
Is
see.
she going for a power follow? Oh yeah, she is going
Yeah.
for that. And
And she's
well,
got a shot.
I think she's fine. But that is a risky
Mm-hmm.
shot.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Is she going to need the bridge? Yeah, let's see. I think so. She's taken an extension. I think she's going to need the bridge as well, don't you? Yeah.
Extension.
I think I can tell better than she can sometimes.
Okay. Now the time is...
Just make the ball, really. This is just a shot where you don't dig down, just let the cue ball run, because it's natural position. You've got to trust yourself here. Oh, she did two-rail it. Oh, that was actually nice. I expected her just to roll that. Nice shot. Landed a little close to the rail. She's got a little bit of work to do yet, but
that's such a key.
nothing she hasn't done before. So let's see. But this is, you know, you've got to make sure your form stays good. But she's so determined.
I mean, all you need to do is just shoot 8 and shoot 9. There is no way to make position on a 9.
Right.
At least it looks so.
That was a
Oh,
nice
wow.
shot. She played that really nicely, didn't she?
I was wrong. There was some angle.
Yeah,
It
no,
looked
I
like
knew she had an angle, but even so, when you're forcing it 2 rails when it's just off straight, it can be a little tricky sometimes. But that's where you've got to keep the form good. So let's see if she can close out the match here.
and players are not looking. You see the Team USA members.
Yeah.
Oh, that was crucial miss, and it looked like it went in.
Do you know she took longer than normal? You notice that? She really took her time on that shot.
I mean, she could hit it harder a little bit. Like she was trying gently to pocket the 9 ball, and sometimes you just stop your hand.
Yeah, I know. Tighten up, because it's a
Like-
big
like,
point, you
yeah.
know.
Overcut it by a bit.
Yeah. But Darry's not left easy. I mean, it's bankable, of course. But it could have been a lot easier.
Well, Dada should be happy to be on the table
Exactly.
now,
Yeah.
because it was an easy 9 ball. She will try to bank it, I think. Oh, is she going for a safety? No, she was going for a bank.
Well, I actually, if it was me personally, would have tried to bank it in the corner like a 2-way shot, and send the cue ball up to the end rail. Because then if you come short, it's a natural safety. But you know, it's all the player and how you feel. I'm more of a percentage player. I'm not as aggressive as some. I would be rolling this forward. She's jacked up there.
I'm really surprised to see this cue lifted up.
Yeah.
I mean, why do you need it? This is just a 9 ball. No position is needed.
Thank God she made it though, I tell you. That was a huge shot jacked up. But again, you know, it's experiences. It's especially if I was playing on a diamond, I'd be rolling that for sure. That was awesome. I'm very, very, very proud of her and happy for USA picking up that point.
Oh, that is a very important point for Team USA.
Huge.
And all the viewers, please don't go away. We still have 1 match to go in the afternoon session. And meanwhile, me and Alison will just take a short break for the small cup of coffee.
That would be splendid. Thank you, Thomas.
Okay, coming back in a minute.
I love it. That's awesome. I'm so proud of her.
So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are on match number 12, the third match of the afternoon session, last for today. We are back at 8 o'clock tonight with 3 more matches. Coming up now are boys singles. Please give a big hand for USA's Caden Hunkins. And from Europe, please give a big hand for Sanjin Pelivanovic. Europe have an overall lead, 8-3. What's the score going to be after this match? Stay tuned.
What's the overall score at the moment?
Overall score is 8.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are back after a short break, and this is the third match of the afternoon session. Sanjin Peklivanovic from Bosnia and Herzegovina is playing
Caden Hunkins from the USA.
and here in the commentary booth is Thomas Bigmanis and Alison Fisher. So if you have any questions to Alison, I mean, this is a really good time to ask them, and you can post the question in EPBF's Facebook webpage comment area.
It looks like Caden's about to take on a 2-9 combination. Very tough shot, but he's not really left with a lot of other options here. There's no real easy safety, and why not? You know, why not go for it?
Especially if you can combine these type of shots with safety options.
Yeah, he's trying to control the cue ball as well.
And actually he was pretty close. I mean, not the first pocket, but you know, the second one.
Well, it's always good to have options.
Oh yeah.
There's 6 pockets on the table. Has he left a combo? That's what I
Yeah.
can't tell. And the way Sanjin's playing it, if it's on, he's going to make it.
I mean, for sure, this match will be much more dynamic.
For sure. There won't
Yeah.
be many misses in it. And I don't think there'll be many unforced errors in this game. was quite tight. He had quite an angle on the 2 there to control it, and he's still got a shot on the 5, and he might use the 6 to bump into. But again, becomes a little tricky to control both balls too. He didn't mean to catch a 5. He wanted to go around the back of it. Well, I would say that Caden's lucky to be back at the table in this situation for sure.
He should be, and to have an open shot.
Yeah.
So
It's not easy because he has to sort of elevate the cue slightly, but as you can see, but still should be a makeable shot for him. That was a really nice shot. The way he followed through there, see, that's what I'm talking about, technically. When you're cueing, if you watch the tip come through the ball, he didn't jab at it. You know, and it's his first shot of the game, really, so... It's a nice little start. See if we can finish it off and get a game under his belt so he can loosen up a little bit.
from here it's very easy.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you roll the ball,
I'm shocked he missed that, to be honest with you. When he put high on the ball, I didn't like it. I thought more of a drag shot.
actually you can see from his action that he saw the ball will not go in from the very beginning of the shot. So
Do you feel like it went off? Do you feel like it rolled out?
I mean, if you put some English on it, it's possible that the ball will roll to the side a little bit, so maybe he just... Obviously, it was an easy shot, right?
Yeah,
He's
for
very
sure.
surprised not to make it.
Yeah.
So oh, he is very, very lucky here.
Or maybe not, I
Or
don't
maybe
think.
not.
Yeah.
But it looked like he is very
Mhm.
good at QM ball, but there is enough.
Yeah, there's enough. I think you can just roll this down and play the 8 crisscross table. Yeah. It's a nice shot by sending there. Just have to focus on making the 8 here. It's not really tough to get on the 9 at all. Which is really what I would have said about Caden's shot too. Just make the 7.
Yeah. Overcut it a little bit, but
Yeah.
still made it.
You know why I like dragging the ball more on the top? Because in the drag you can hit the ball a little firmer and have more trust in it going in a straight line. So as soon as he put topspin on that ball, I actually didn't like it. Caden shot on the 7.
And one of the viewers is asking how the referee is ranking the balls. So there is no template on the table. However, there are small dots on a cloth made with special template before the event. And those small dots are actually pushing all the ball towards the center of the rack. So we actually all sticking all together, and the rack is very firm.
And random as far as obviously the one at the top, 9 in the centre, but other than that, the referee doesn't look at what order the balls are placed in.
Wow.
Super thin cut. Didn't mean to catch a 7, and now. But you know, I watched him play a great jump shot yesterday, so let's see. He's not afraid of jumping the ball, that's for sure.
Yeah, that was a moment where Ricky thought he made a good safety shot. Sanjin actually made a terrific jump shot in the run out.
Yeah. You saw him hold his hand up there. He didn't play that. I think he played to make the ball and hit it on the wrong side. And sometimes you just get a little lucky with those shots.
So, one rail kick.
Well, milk it. It'd be nice to use a 9 to slow the cue ball down, but you're always in the luck of the gods here with the one railers, leaving the ball out in the open. But he was fortunate there, but I think he's going to find himself in a lot of trouble next shot. He's looking at burying him behind the 5 and 7 and just sending the 3 back across. It's an easy snooker here.
Much harder to get out of this position.
Yeah.
I mean, it's possible to use a one rail kick shot from the short rail.
Tricky to judge, isn't it?
Probably would be even better to use some right English. But the way the Caden is measuring, it's probably much harder. Because the rail is so close. Oh. Of course. Very unlucky. You know, when you make something good to escape the error, and in the end still sketch.
Yeah.
It's
The only problem here is getting the 4 to the 5, but making the 5 and getting on the 6. Or he might choose to play a snooker on the 5. Use it as a blocker. Can he break them out, or is he just gonna try and make the 5, or is he gonna play safe? Bank it. Looks like it might be. Is he gonna bank it? I think he's gonna bank round the back of the 7.
I agree with you. He's going for the bank probably.
For a natural position on the 6 out in the centre of the table. Ooh. Surprising, but let's see if we got away with it. Is it easy for Caden to go rail first there, or is the 7 too big there?
I mean, it looked like he can pot the ball if he hits right.
Yeah. Maybe not then. He was just trying to thin it and safe. I'm not sure he could get enough of the 5 there. He just caught it a bit too thick though, but he's landed pretty well.
Well, pretty tough shot for Sanin.
Yeah, he's hitting the left. Looks like he's hitting the left side of the ball. Got to play a bit of inside English. That was a nice shot, well played.
Yeah, good control.
It's always a little tricky when you're cutting back into a blind pocket and you're playing with English, especially inside English, to slow the cue ball down. Used all the pocket there.
Yeah, that is not an easy shot.
No, it's not an easy
Especially
shot.
to control the cue ball. So
Easy for Sanyin though, I'd say.
I mean, he trained a lot to become to this level. He plays constantly the best tournaments in the world. So for him, it's just another easy match.
Yeah.
Let's say another match,
Mhm.
right? He doesn't.
He's competing a lot, is the point.
Yeah.
I think he's constantly competing. We talked about that yesterday, Sanyin and me. He said, yeah, next year is going to be a really, really busy year. You see, for our players in the US, it's not like that. There's not that many tournaments, and I love the Euro Tour for that. That's how you're creating these champion players so young, because they've got all these great players around them, adult players, and we've seen that.
It's not 9-ball. Yeah.
Well, that's going to hurt Cade. He's already 3-0 down, and you know he had a great opportunity in that first rack. So I'm sure Sanyin's like really sitting there comfortably in his chair right now, and Caden is disappointed probably still from that first roll shot that he did on the 7. But anyway, just about the competition, I think it's wonderful in Europe that there are so many youngsters involved among the Euro Tour, the adult players, and the competition is so strong.
I mean, it's not only Euro Tours. Sanjin has a contract with Joy, so he plays
Oh,
at
wow,
least 3 or
okay.
4 tournaments in China. And
Wonderful.
we actually talked with his next event is in the very, very start of January.
I
So
know that
he
one.
will
Joy
be-
put on a huge Chinese 8-ball tournament.
Yeah.
Is that,
So
yeah.
he will be in the plane on the New Year's Eve. So
Yeah.
it's not an easy life. Traveling around the world.
Sometimes it's not very glamorous, that's for sure. It's not what people think. It's a lot of travel, but there's a lot of pressure. You're moving from place to place. You're in hotels, you know, and you don't always sleep well. And then going to China, especially, your food is different. Your body clock is different. It's very tough. But he's nice and young to handle all of that, and he's got many, many years ahead of him to have all these experiences. And playing Chinese 8-ball is a good test, and you need a really good stroke to play that game. It's like playing snooker on just a smaller table. The pockets are tight, but they're playing 8-ball on a 9-foot snooker table, if you like. It's a great game. It's the most popular game in China. In fact, you'll see more of those tables in the clubs over there than anything else. And there's a lot of money involved over in that sport.
Oh, for sure. China is huge. So another brief shot.
Well, that type of shot is a bank. He just caught it a little wrong. It's like a natural bank. There was a natural position, but Caden really needs to make a mark though. Just having chances against Senyin, I think. You know, he needs to get going. I've not seen him really flow yet. It's almost like he doesn't trust himself. And he is a great player. I've seen him play many times, but you know, you've got to put it to practice in the match situations. And that is really where some of our players are lacking. Is a lack of competition. And how about, what can you tell us about Victor? Competition-wise, competitively, because he's a tremendous player too, isn't he?
Oh yeah, he's trying to play every tournament around Europe, as far as I know. I'm not sure if he has traveled to States for some event, but the Euro tours were not so good for him this year. However, he finished runner-up in Oslo Open, losing to Fane in the finals. So he's doing okay.
Yeah.
I think Japan, All Japan Open, he finished third in the spring.
Very
so
nice. Yeah.
So
Well, look, Caden got on the board there. So hopefully he can keep rolling. So 3-1.
okay, very important point.
Yeah, huge point. Not an easy shot either. A little bit of distance, but that was a nice shot. Mark's having a word. I wonder what he's saying to him right now.
I mean, it's good that players listen to the coaches.
I think they're great.
Sometimes we just close and, you know,
They're like, yeah.
just, I know better.
Yeah, Caden's got a great attitude. You know, he's really open to all the information and he loves the game, constantly playing at home, and, you know, he'll take all the information he can get. And, you know, somebody sitting on the sidelines can see different things. You know, it doesn't mean always we want to listen to people, but sometimes we know for sure that Mark has his best interests at heart. So, and that's what you take, the trust of somebody that has your best interests at heart. Yeah, Mark's more like a father figure to me. He's, you know, he cares and he wants to see the kids thrive.
Okay, that was a smart shot by
Yeah.
Sonin. He
Yeah.
took some time to value his options, and I think he picked a really good one.
Yeah. Looks like Caden's opting for his jump cue here. I think he will accept that. Thank you very much. You never know what's going to happen jumping the ball. I mean, there's obvious jumps when it's pretty close and straightforward into a pocket, but then there's those distance jumps, and sometimes you get a little bit of run because they're very difficult to control elevated at that angle. And that's one thing we never did in snooker. I remember I was in China back in 1994. First, one of the early times that I played pool, and I was introduced to Mike Massey, Ol Strickland and Joanne Mason Parker. So Q-Tech were thinking about signing me up back then. And I was a snooker player still. So I go to Beijing and I'm playing in a pool tournament, just exhibitions. And I snookered Joanne Mason Parker behind the shot, and I thought, oh, I've got her here, got it. And then she pulls out a jump cue, and I'm like, what? What is that? Jumped over, made the shot, and ran out. And I'm like, excuse me, isn't that a foul? That was the first time I'd ever seen a jump cue. And of course, in snooker, that never happens, and it's not legal. So that was shocking to me. And when we saw Sanya made another mistake there, trying to get out that snooker, which was one rail snooker. Not always the easiest, and but not expected to miss it, and given Caden ball in hand.
Oh, that's an opportunity for Caden. Okay, he's good.
It's a nice natural angle to just let the cue ball drift 2 rows down the table. Just topspin.
Whatever Mark Williams told him, it works. It looks like that.
That's exactly right. Well, it's because Mark had that little bit of meditation earlier on the sidelines, and it came to him the words of wisdom to give to Caden. Nice.
For me, it looks like Caden softened his hand a little bit and started to feel the balls better.
Exactly. I think he gets a little quick in that backswing sometimes, and obviously nerves, pressure. Sometimes you can look calm on the outside and not really be like that on the inside, and I want to see this side of him because I know how good he is. And he's a good kid, you know, loves the game, treats it well, is very respectful of everyone, a good role model. I think we got a legal break there, yeah?
The break is legal.
Did he get a shot? That's the
I
question.
think he can see this cut on a 2-ball.
What I'd like to do ideally is to bump the 6, make the 2, cut the 2, bump the 6 so it holds the cue ball for the 3. So you might need a touch of inside just to hit the 6 ball 4. Oh, he hit it on the inner side. Caught it too much on the inside.
Well,
Has he got? I think he's got a shot in the corner.
oh yeah, looks like that.
You just make sure he keeps it nice and smooth. Keep a nice smooth stroke. Maybe he has a bit more angle than we think. Not really sure. Yeah. He had a bit more angle than we thought. He couldn't go through he would have rolled into the 9. So just give yourself shots sometimes, you know, it doesn't matter the distance, just give yourself a chance. Nice shot.
Nice shot. Yeah.
There's his mum and dad on the left side of the screen there. Again, like we talked about earlier, it's great to see the parents supporting their kids. I'd like him to have come back a little further there. He just kind of stuns that almost. He needed to come back another couple of inches. Not to say it's not doable, but it would just been a lot easier to be the right side of the ball because he needs to force the cue ball a little bit more now.
It's a very important shot now.
And this is where you have to keep your grip loose and not tighten up. Let the cue do the work. He hit it nicely. Let's see how far he got.
Is he going for combo? It seems so.
I think that's a plan B, actually. I think. What do
I'm
you
not sure.
think?
Maybe that was a plan A from beginning.
Do you think?
Otherwise, I'm really surprised he picked this position.
Well, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. That was a good choice. That was a nice shot. So that equals the game, does it? 3-3?
Yeah, it's really good.
Well, I tell you what, we need Mark to get in his ear more often, don't we?
Yeah,
Maybe it's best
we
me
have
sitting here and Mark out
here,
there.
here in Europe, we have a rule: the coach can approach only once.
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah,
It's when the momentum changed. And what do you think about them, timeouts?
I mean, the timeouts are really good, so to say, strategic move.
Yeah.
And
I
you
mean,
see that things are not going your way.
Yeah.
It's like a must thing.
yeah.
Some players, they think it's okay. I am still very good. I don't need a timeout. But
Yeah.
it's not about it being good. It's about the
Time to regroup.
change of thinking
Yeah,
and just
time-
going out, and then it's like you can come back a different person, like a different mindset.
Yeah, timeout was like a 5-minute break that you're allowed during the match, one timeout. And yeah, like you said, if somebody gets a little momentum going their way, or let's just say you're ahead in the game and the person comes back, that would be a good time to take a timeout. And sometimes you feel mentally fine to just sit there and work your way through it, but like you said, it's a little bit of a reboot. Which I think we could have used a little more effectively yesterday and didn't.
I agree. Some decisions were made too quickly.
Yeah.
You know, race to 6, pretty free. Everything can happen, so
Exactly.
you never know.
Yeah, exactly. That was a nice shot. Played it carried into the 5 to hold the cue ball. You had to hit it full, and it was a perfect stop shot. Nice shot by Senyan. Has he walked out with his jump cue already?
Oh no, that's. I mean, this is a really easy one rail kick.
Yeah, exactly.
Why to jump?
That's exactly what I was thinking. It's a tough jump because he's so close, but the one rail kick is there, and good things can happen in that one rail kick too. Maybe he heard me.
The jump is definitely too hard.
Well, I think yeah, he's too close and no control. So, and he's a good kicker. You know, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, it's pretty natural angle, so
Yeah.
it's really.
You can imagine doubling the distance to a little mirror image of the 3 ball. See, that was a much better choice. Oh, he just got a bad nudge there, really.
Again, really good hit,
Mhm.
a little bit unlucky, and he was going for safe.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if exactly in this place, but
I think he made the right choice, but he's just got very unlucky.
yeah.
But speed control.
So easy table, but you know things happen.
Yeah,
Sanyin made already a couple of bad shots, so he needs to stay concentrated.
it's funny, isn't it, when there's sort of a lot of expectation on you. Really, your eyes will fall with that. I mean, on paper he's expected to win, and sometimes that can be tough too.
Okay, is that going to be 4 rail?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
a bit of inside English now, forcing it round. You really have to-
Not enough.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
is
he's
it
got
good?
there,
Good.
but I was going to say this table's kind of, the rails are sucking up the energy out of the ball. You have to really hit it for it to really have a good effect. So you had to, you know, on some tables you'd be on the top rail with that shot. Like if you're playing on a diamond, for example, you'd be all the way at the end of the table. That's a nice speed. Unfortunate for Caden there, really, a little bit. But a good shot by Sanyan to get him in that position. 4-3.
4-3. Whose break is now? Probably Caden is breaking now.
I think it is actually. I think Senyin started the match. So it's imperative that he does a legal break and makes a ball here. These kids have been glued to the Moscone Cup while we've been here. That's been a fun part of the trip too, just the energy of the two teams playing. He's not quite getting there, is he, with that break?
Yeah, something
Didn't
is
make a
not
ball.
working, yeah.
Yeah, didn't make a ball, but he's not left anything either. So I guess Senyin doesn't like what he's seen, so Caden will have the option of... Wait a minute, he didn't make a ball, did he?
No.
So Senyin put him back, but Caden has the option to push out here.
Okay.
Has he pushed to a jump, or is there a little gap there? If
Yeah.
there's a gap, he's
He-
going to be a bit disappointed.
I mean, it's probably a jump opportunity here. Oh, is it the gap?
Well, I wonder if he's trying to spin it, you know, just a touch of swerve to make the ball. And Caden would be a bit upset with his push out there if that's the case. Yeah, see?
Yeah, he was using a lot of English.
Yeah. It sounded...
You can actually see how Cueable reacted to this English,
Did it
right?
sound a little miscuey there? There was a sound, wasn't there? I wonder if he miscued a little bit there. I feel like he could rail first here. 2 rails down, drift down for the 2. There we go. He didn't quite catch it thick enough. He needed a little...
Oh, a little bit stronger. So
Yeah,
like that's the speed.
either or.
Lack of speed control.
yeah.
So
Again, we're in a jump shot situation. This one I would jump though. There's not an easy one. Where I keep going. Oh, it's so close. Wow,
it's so close, and
that was a tough one. You know, sometimes they've played kind of dead weight onto balls, and for example, that one ball there, the rail first, like you were saying, a bit harder or a bit thicker, and it picks up some English. But sometimes they're just hooking themselves with just because of speed control. Dangerous. Ooh, did he avoid that then? And has he left a combination after the 4 ball? 4-6, is it a combo or not? Not quite.
possible,
Is there enough distance?
but not easy.
No.
You also need a special angle for that shot.
Exactly, yeah. He got a little fortunate there, didn't he? Because he had to play that way, but he could have easily been hooked behind the 5. And it's just the little rolls in ball sometimes that make the difference in the match. So he got the right side of the 4 now. He had to be over there in order to have a chance at making this shot. That's nicely played.
I like his pre-shot routine. Like he's doing always the same thing.
Yep. And that's the important part. Pre-shot routine and repeat, repeat, repeat. Don't miss a step. And I feel like some of our kids have missed a little step here and there on some of the matches. it's easy to get lazy and complacent at this game, but it's important not to. You want to repeat good habits all the time. But then also there's a fine line of not overthinking it, isn't there? I tend to overthink sometimes, overanalyze. I would say one of the most important things in this game is commitment to the shot. Once you decide you're fully committed, if you're in two minds, you need to get up and start that pre-shot routine again. He's looking really comfortable now, isn't he? Sanyin.
Five free ahead. And this is Sanjin's break now.
Yeah, Caden's definitely had some chances in this match. He's taken his time out, and we just talked about that. I think that's a really good choice at this point to try and turn the match around and get Sanyin off a game, because he's relaxed, he's feeling comfortable. That was a big game. And Caden needs to reboot the mental thought.
Highly possible if Sanjin's break good. So Caden will be still sitting.
True.
But in case he gets a chance, even a bad position or even only resave possibility, then he must use it.
Yeah.
And I mean, the timeout was good here because he needs to reset and try to fight till the very, very end.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a big point, you know. And a boost for the team, of course. It's not just yourself playing, you're playing for a team. How did you get into pool?
One day I simply walked in the pool room. That's
How old were you? Or how young were you?
I was pretty old. I was 20 something.
Yeah.
I mean 22 or 23.
Oh, it's just a few years ago.
Yeah. And you know, when I was 25, I actually organized the first Euro tour.
Really?
But it's like, you know, I liked pool so much, but I felt when I need to do something.
That's awesome.
You know, I remember, you should remember, it was like the Eastern Europe. We just got out of Soviet Union.
Right, yeah.
The first pool tables were brought to Lithuania like 1994. Just, we've never had them before. So in 1999, I'm calling someone in Brunswick company and trying to get sponsorship for something Lithuanian Open. So, you know, we were quite full back then, but the energy we had and we wanted to do something, we didn't know actually what we want to do. So
it's amazing.
He ended up, but somehow after 1 year of work, I had this Euro tour done in Lithuania. That was like the biggest super event for us, like all pros were. All the Ralph Sukan, you know, Alex Lilly,
Yes.
So it gave a big boost for me. And of course, a lot of projects after that, and a lot of involvement in the federation, and finally coming to EPBF.
Yeah.
So step by step. But you know, sometimes I just have ideas, and
That's
the worst
fantastic.
part, I cannot get rid of them.
Yeah, that's a passion though, isn't it, really, that people like you come into the sport and don't give up on a dream. You know, you're passionate about it, have the goals, and then get things in motion, and that's fantastic. Like you said,
But I always wanted to play pool.
Really?
I simply, I couldn't, I wasn't really good, so I chose a path which, of course, naturally led to a better result.
so you're always around it, which is wonderful. But it takes a whole team, doesn't it? When you look at something like this, we see the players out in the arena, but there's so much organisation, planning, you know, pulling things together. It takes a whole team to make events happen. And this really brings the world together. And the fact that people can watch it on the internet all around the world.
Yeah, I agree. Back then, you know, we couldn't see pool Like
Right.
it was rarely shown on TV, and
Yeah.
I remember one day it was possible to see some kind of tournament on some German channel. So we were trying to find this channel. Of course, it wasn't there because we didn't have dishes. So and now, with all the streaming and YouTube and everything, it's so easy to get in the sport.
Oh yeah,
but
the
with-
information.
Yeah, but I actually see what the kids, they are different now. They have a lot of things to choose in life. It's everything is easy for them. Like one click thing. And here you must come and train and practice, and it's sometimes it's not exactly what we want. So
I agree. Yeah, it's a little bit of a different mindset and a different world now, that's for sure.
the most funny thing for me, like recently, I was, I run big tournaments, like 100 and more people, and while waiting, we need to kill the time somehow, and you look at the players playing pool on their phones while waiting for a real match to come. That is something like surreal for sure, but like I said, billiard, if it sucks you in, it's impossible to get out. So
very
people
addictive.
sometimes they just jump off, and you see them coming back at a few years back.
Absolutely. Well, I love it when I also see, you just mentioned Ralph Souquet and some of the players that have been around for years and years and years and still competing at a super high level. It's wonderful. Well, he really didn't quite get hold of that shot the way he wanted, but tough shot down the rail now.
I mean, it looks tough, but it's okay. It's a shot he can make,
Oh yeah.
and of course, if he's successful with a little bit inside English, he can get a good position.
Yeah. Nice shot. Played that nice. That was nice. That worked out.
Well,
I'm glad he let his stroke out there, just he looks comfortable.
yeah.
Well, you
Yeah.
saw Sanyin made a big mistake there because he played that 3 down the rail and gave Caden ball in hand.
So
A little turn, maybe that little timeout.
this timeout worked in the end,
It
right?
did, yeah. And 5-4, I believe, with Sanyin and with Caden up to break.
Again, another very close match.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what the sport needs.
I'm proud of the US players today. They've come out fighting because yesterday was could have been a little demoralising. It was a tough day, close matches, and could have gone a couple more points our way, which makes a big difference. But they've come out fighting with good spirit, and it's nice to see. I see my kill relaxing in the background there,
Oh yeah.
taking it easy. It's what you do when you're from the Virgin Islands.
He can be very dangerous. I've seen him
I tell you,
playing,
what a great
yeah,
player.
yeah.
Got a good attitude. Oh, he missed the 9 ball last night, didn't he, for that match? He did all the hard. Oh, okay. Then. We don't want to give Sanyin ball in hand, right? Again, now, like I said earlier, we've really struggled with the break. They just haven't, had tournaments with it. And it's been a bit of a mental block, I think, here. It's been tough to negotiate that, but the scratch really hurts there.
For sure, it's really hard to win if your break is not working.
Yeah.
So one of the most important factors. So
Yeah.
and players, we think that shooting few break shots before the match is enough. No, we need to train it. Because
That's where Shane on the American tour, Shane Van Bonen, got a tremendous break, but he said it. He said, I've spent a few hours a day practicing the break, and therefore he's earned the right to be a good breaker. like you just said, these kids are putting hours and hours and hours of hitting balls and practice. You can't just become a good ball player overnight. It takes a lot of training, a lot of self-discipline, a lot of dedication, and a lot of hunger. Oh, and that was for the match.
At the moment, he thought I missed it.
Wow. Wow,
Played so
wow.
confident till the very end and nonetheless won.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this match concludes the afternoon session of the second day of Atlantic Challenge Cup, and we still have one session this evening.
We do.
And I hope the Alison Fisher will join us for this evening session as well. So, still 3 matches to go.
Yes, and thank you for having me here, Thomas. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you for telling those stories and answering questions. So, for now, we will leave you, but please come back in the evening for the 3rd session of the day 2.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Europe have a commanding lead, 9-3 over Team USA. We are back at 8 o'clock this evening local time with 3 more matches. So don't forget to join us and see you all again tonight. 8 o'clock.
Never mind.
See you then.
It's going to be gutted.
Played good. Played better.
Yeah.
I mean, is he playing still today? I don't think so.
I think he's
The
done
other
now.
players,
I think,
because
yeah.
I have players who didn't play yet, so maybe they play as well.
Exactly. I was hoping for Kane, like in singles, that he would shine a little more there. But it was close. He nearly